It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and hot topics. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. So, and before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so some of the topics we got to get into, there's been a lot of deaths going on as of late. So we got to talk about Michelle Trachtenberg. I did not see that coming, but we got to talk about that. Celebrities have given their condolences. We're going to get into that story. We also got to talk about celebrity hairstylist Jesus Guerrero, who passed away suddenly. Jennifer Lopez and Kylie Jenner and a bunch of others have given their condolences. Even Kylie's paying for the funeral. So we got to talk about that and all the expenses and things of that nature. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about the outcome of this, the aftermath, I should say, of Joy Reid losing her job over at MSNBC, aka the Blue Mega Network. So we got to talk about that because Rachel Maddow went and was defending her friend out here. She going hard. She windmilling for her. Also, Don Lemon was dragging Megyn Kelly. Plus, now he ain't only dragging Megyn Kelly. He's also dragging log cabin Republicans. And if you don't know what a log cabin Republican is, that's what we like to call homosexual Republicans who be like deep in the closet. So we're gonna talk about them because he putting them on blast. Said that his grinder was blowing up when he was out in DC during the RNC when he was covering it. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about this latest news on Miss Shangela because she has broken her silence. Somebody actually messaged me over on one of the webs. What is it? One of the apps. I think it was TikTok. That if I had seen her, she put out a statement. I didn't, but I happened to do the research. I found it. We're gonna talk about it. Plus, her accuser, Eric Poff, aka Dakota Payne, has revealed why it took him almost 8 years to come forward with the allegations. Plus, we got to talk about Miss Mama from Potomac, Karen Huger, going to jail for 2 years, but she might only do a couple of months. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about Tate McRae, them album sales, all of that. Plus, she's also weighing in on the Britney Spears comparison. So we got to talk about that. Plus, speaking of people whose career is not popping like Tate McRae's, we got to talk about Katy Perry with these low ticket sales regarding her upcoming Lifetime's World Tour. It is not selling in America. 70% of the seats are unsold as of late. So we got to talk about that. Plus, Jermaine Dupri is going in on Rolling Stone for yet again posting one of their BS. Y'all just need to stick to the exposés of people out here R-wording people and stuff and stop doing music and analysis because Jermaine Dupri is out here dragging them for their BS article talking about Michael Jackson's Thriller. So we got to talk about that. Plus, Jujubee is talking about why she is officially done with Drag Race. And we also got to talk about another Drag Race alum who's on the same show as Jujubee, by the way. I'm going to give you a little hint of what is it? That Drag House Rules show over on Out TV, saying that she was not willing to come to terms with the fact that she was trans, but Kylie Sonique Love gave her some crucial advice, which made her fully come to terms with her transness. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. I'm sure there's other things that's going on, but I was like, look, Chad, it's about to go on 6 o'clock on the East Coast. I got to put a show together. I was on the struggle bus, like trying to put so much and organizing, but we here. We're going to give you a show as I normally and usually do. So yeah, hit that like button and that subscribe button, also that good stuff. Oh my God, I totally forgot to bring this thing up. So, wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Because there was something about remember the other day we was up in here talking about when I talked about Heavenly. And I was like, oh, Funky Dineva. I was like, okay, Miss Mamas, what you got to say about it? And he spoke out. I could not find, wait, hold on. I was like, I could not find his Instagram. You know what? I need Marjorie Taylor Greene to go away. I called her a troglodyte earlier. The girls was living for, and I call her that. Y'all don't know what a troglodyte is. It is literally when man actually came out looking before we evolved into the species we are today. The bitch looked like a caveman. That's what I was basically saying. But anyway, look at me. Not even 5 minutes into the show, and I'm already cussing. I can't help it. But anyway, let me see. I forgot it's Miss Funky Dineva. But he talked about it on his show. And I was like, damn, that was a good opportunity. I could have came on here. I think that's what it was called, but I don't see it. Oh no, that's a fan page. But whatever. He basically said this is why I don't fool around with fish. And I know a lot of people was getting mad over that, but I was like, the same thing that he was saying. If y'all haven't seen the video, definitely go over there and check it out. It was his Monday episode, and he broke it down on what he felt about it. I was like, if I would have went to his Instagram when I was in the middle of talking about this, I could have had this all wrapped up in the show as it was, but unfortunately I didn't do that because he was saying like, yeah, I keep them at where they at because I know at some point, you know, if I say the wrong thing, if y'all call up, if y'all get mad about something, we ain't gonna be nothing but a bunch of sissies, punks, and you know the F word rhymes with maggot. So, that's why I keep y'all at a distance. I'll kiki, we'll break bread, but I keep y'all at a distance because I see how y'all be fooled online when you get mad. And we're not saying all women are like that. And I hate the fact that in life, whenever we just talk straight, that we always have to emphasize, well, not everybody does A, B, and C. I always go by this analogy. This is always my line about stuff. And this is why I don't feel no way tired when it comes to a lot of things. If it don't apply, let it fly. I've said that many a times on this show. So if it don't apply to you, why are you mad? Why are you affected? Y'all always think like one person, we all a monolith, that one person represents the entire community. That's not how it is. So I think that people just need to listen, take it in, understand where we coming from with certain things. But oh, so this is how the community feels. I mean, yeah, y'all come in and y'all watch, and I know there's a lot of women that watch this show, not only just the homosexuals, but I know there's women that come in here and watch the show too. And I live for y'all. I live for my allies. I live for all the different demographics that want to come in and cackle with this mess of a damn show. But at the end of the day, when we have our experiences, all we want y'all to do is just sit back, listen, and learn. Just like a lot of times when there's things I'm not familiar with and I don't understand, I sit back, listen, and learn and take it on in and try to learn from y'all communities. I expect that, you know what, y'all do the same for us and not always take everything to heart when it's not necessarily generalizing you. We talking about certain people because I've experienced that too when women have come out their face and try to call me out my name and I've had to read them down to the floor till they was in fucking tears leaving the situation, facility, the premises, whatever you want to call it. I told you I learned how to read from the greats. A lot of old homosexuals and trans women. Those are who I used to hang out with down in the piers in New York City when the piers was the piers before they gentrified it. That's where I learned how to read. It's a look, that's gonna be our new thing. We stealing it from Mama Roo. But yeah, so and then he also spilled some tea about Foxhole that we didn't know about that after they, you know, got rid of Al, you doing and all of them over there, that they tried to get Funky to come back with his own show. And then it was a whole mess and thing. And that kind of related where he was in relation to the whole Joy Reid situation, which we're going to talk about later on, where it's like, you know, where everybody think the grass is always green on the other side because we do as, pundits, we do aspire to get to that place where the Joy Reids and all of them reside, but the grass ain't always green on that side. But anyway, enough of that. Let me hit my banner. Let's get into our first topic and let's talk about this shocking news that I came across this morning when news broke that Michelle Trachtenberg, who most people know from like Harriet the Spy, that's where I first met her. Well, not met her, but that's where I first knew her from because I remember when I was a kid, I saw Harriet the Spy. And then, you know, her most iconic role, which was playing Dawn, Buffy's sister, that was actually the key that Glory was trying to get a hold of in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She apparently died at the age of 39. So the Harriet the Spy star's death is reportedly not being investigated as suspicious. Her cause of death was not immediately known. Well, I actually know what I found out some information that I'm going to tell y'all that what her cause of death may have been, but I know they're going to do the autopsy and other stuff, but I got some tea. But so stand back and stand by. Yes, I rejudged that word from you know who. So now, Page Six has reached out to the LA coroner's office, and a rep for comment did not immediately hear back. Now, Trachtenberg, who was also known for her roles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Gossip Girl, sparked concerns about her health last year when she posted photos of with a drastically different appearance. The beloved TV star defended her looks, however, telling her haters, "Explain to me how I look sick." She added at the time, "Did you lose a calendar and not realize I'm not 14? I'm 38. How sad for you to leave such a comment." However, several fans have pointed out they were not trying to criticize her appearance, but were more so concerned because her hair was thinner and her eyeballs had a yellow tint. So what people, I guess, need to understand is, and this is why y'all need to be real careful when y'all be out here criticizing people's appearance. Because let's take it back a couple of years. Let's take it back to Chadwick Boseman. Remember when Chadwick Boseman was looking relatively thin, and when he showed up at I forget what movie premiere was. I don't think it was Black Panther. Or it might have been. I'm not sure. But remember when y'all started seeing pictures of Chadwick Boseman? He was looking real thin, and y'all was out here talking about he a crackhead and saying all kinds of disrespectful stuff. Come to find out he had cancer, and y'all was all out here eating your words. Even that man-looking bitch, Jess He-Man Woman Haters Club, Larius, that was over there making that comment to me. I had to apologize. Well, bitch, you shouldn't have been. You should have stayed out of grown people business, like a lot of y'all, and watch what you said. So people was out here trying to say she had plastic surgery, she was unhealthy, until the point where Michelle had to tell y'all so to check yourselves. She said, check yourself, haters. So what the thing is, well, let's get into some of the other stuff that she did. Look, Michelle been around since the age of 3. That's how long she's been acting. Her first series was Nickelodeon's The Adventures of Pete and Pete, from 91 to 96. Now, I do remember that show. Her first big break came when she starred in Harriet the Spy in 1996. She also went on to have roles in Euro Trip, Ice Princess, Black Christmas, and 17 again. I actually like, well, Black Christmas, I did like a different take that they took on that movie. But yeah, and then after that, there were some celebrities that took to social media to share their condolences, such as David Boreanaz went and put in his Instagram stories, so very sad, horrible news, RIP, and prayers to her and her family. So I do have that photo. So yeah, put it up 1985 to 2025. She would have been 40 this year. But then we have Ed Westwick, who you know was on Gossip Girl, posted, so sad to hear the passing of Michelle Trachtenberg, sending prayers. So there's that one from Ed Westwick. Then we got one from James Marsders, who played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Basically, my heart is heavy today. The Buffy Vampire Slayer wrote on Instagram saying that we have lost a beautiful soul. Michelle was fiercely independent or intelligent, howlingly funny, and a very talented person. She died much too young and leaves behind scores of people who knew and loved her. James continued, my heart goes out to her family, who are good people and are suffering the greatest loss anyone could bear. I hope everyone can give them space to heal in this most difficult time. Godspeed, Michelle. You are missed. Another celebrity that paid their condolences, Kim Cattrall, who went on to say the following. She was like, rest in peace, sweet Michelle. Then we had Kenan Thompson, who went on to say the following, saying that our first Nick movie star has departed us. She was my friend and now she rests. Check on your people. And then we have from Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell been around, Chad. So then she was like, and because they were in Harriet the Spy together, she basically told Us Weekly, heartbreaking. I loved her very much. She struggled the last few years. I wish I could have helped. Well, I don't know if she's implying when she said she struggled the last few years. I wish I could have helped. Where she implying that there was some drug use or drug abuse or things of that nature that was going on. So I don't necessarily know if she had substance abuse issues or whatever the case is, but based off of the information I got, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but I just want to get through the condolences. So Emma Caulfield, who, you know, played Anya on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, said, I'm so sorry your bright light died so young. Our Buffy family lost a little sister today. Rest in peace, lovely Mish Mish. You were loved. And this got a lot of people thinking, like, damn, we just lost her. And they talking about a Buffy reboot. And then they're trying to get others together. We haven't heard from Sarah Michelle Gellar, but I feel like with Sarah, it's going to take her a while to come and say what she got to say. So we might not get something until like late today or possibly tomorrow when we'll hear about what she had to say on that. Because it takes some people who are the closest with certain people to marinate, let things hit them, and then find the right words. It's the same thing when we get to the story about Jesus Guerrero, the hairstylist, celebrity hairstylist, how long it took for Kylie Jenner to come and put out her condolences because she wanted to deal with it privately before she went public. So now her ex-boyfriend, Shawn Ashmore, who, played Iceman in X-Men and X2 and all the other Bryan Singer X-Men films, said the following because they dated from 2004 to 2006. He said, incredibly sad to hear about Michelle's passing. She was an incredible person, and I will always remember the years that we spent together fondly. She was loving, quirky, and would never pass up a Law and Order SVU marathon. Well, damn, she sounds like my cup of tea because, I live for Law and Order SVU marathons. And they also went and said, my condolences to her mother, Laura, and her sister, Irene. This is an incredible loss. So, according to TMZ, they're stating that, and this is law enforcement sources basically told them, they said that Michelle's body may have rejected the liver transplant she received within the last year, causing complications. They were also told that her body was discovered by her mother. So that explains why her eyes were yellow and her hair was falling out. She apparently had an issue with her liver. She went for a liver transplant. The liver that she was given, apparently her body rejected the liver, and that's probably why she was looking the way she was looking, hence why she passed away. So now it's got me wondering, Rosie O'Donnell, well, girl, you was somebody you was trying to help her for the past couple of years. So what type of stuff do you know that you keeping to yourself that you kind of let slip in that little post that you posted in regards to her death? So it's got me wondering, it was like, was she going through substance abuse situations and it was so bad that she needed a liver transplant, or was it something else? So it's got me wondering in regards to that, because I would have just left it at, okay, she had a liver transplant. It might have been some illness that she was dealing with privately as a child that got bad as she got older and that sort of thing. So it's kind of made me wonder that. But now that Rosie O'Donnell kind of let something slip within her post, alluding to substance abuse, that's kind of got me wondering that. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Unfortunately, condolences to the Trachtenberg family. We lost a good one. I love Michelle Trachtenberg. Like I was a fan of a lot of her work, and growing up watching her on a lot of TV and movies and things of that nature. Yeah, this was a one that kind of hurt, and I would have loved to have seen her be a part of the Buffy reboot, but it looks like that's not happening. So let me know, guys, what you think of this story in the comments down below. Lanier says, I remember Michelle trying to replay Erica Kane's. Oh, yes, she did. I forgot she was Bianca. You know how many times they changed that child? Sidebar. Susan Lucci was just on the episode, just did The View. Because I think, I didn't see the episode, but I know she's supposed to be doing, what the hell's her name? She's supposed to be doing Joy Behar's play or something or another. Because I did see Joy mention that. And it's funny, it was like Michelle played Bianca, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar played Kendall. So when she came on Buffy, I thought, wow, reunion cast. So condolences to that family. All right, so now let's go into this other condolences or death situation. And let's talk about celebrity hairstylist Jesus Guerrero, who died suddenly. And I think he was in his 30s as well. So Jennifer Lopez has broken her silence in regard to the whole situation. Look at glam as ever. And, he did that hair. So that's what we had to show this picture, because, yeah, that's his work on her. The extensions is popping. And so on Tuesday, the 25th, the singer and actress was 55 penned an emotional caption for Guerrero alongside a black and white photo of him, basically saying the following. She said, Jesus, it's no surprise your mother gave you the name Jesus. You were gentle and kind and loving, quiet and unassuming, but so powerful, and your presence was felt the minute you walked into the room. You never demanded the spotlight. Well, of course, who can demand spotlight when you were in the room? Everybody, allegedly got a dim light when Jennifer Lopez walked into the room. That's what the people were saying. So that's what I'm putting out there. But anyway, let's go back to what she said. You never needed to make a sound to be recognized. Your heart and your talent did that as effortlessly as your artistry did. I've been having trouble putting the words together the last few days. The truth is, I'm still in shock, and such a beautiful young life has come to an end. It seems senseless and unfair. I know your family is brokenhearted, as am I, and everyone else who knew you. Yeah, because you probably like, well, goddamn, who I got now? I got to find a new hairstyle. I know I'm playing. But anybody who's close enough with somebody in your circle you definitely would be like, well, damn, so young to be passing away. I wonder what it was from. I mean, what he had passed away from. But I'm sure there'll be an autopsy and things of that nature. But you also want him to say your spirit moved on to the next phase beyond this life. But I know whenever you are is beauty and light. And the beauty and light you left here will live on forever. Rest in peace, sweet angel. So now, how we found out about the situation is that his family announced a death in a series of Instagram stories on Sunday, February 23rd, shortly after he was in Dubai with Jennifer Lopez. Now, on February 19th, the star shared an Instagram post and tagged Guerrero, writing the caption, "Business Trip." Lopez makeup artist Scott Barnes, who was also on the trip, shared a tribute on Instagram saying, "I can't believe I was just working with him in Dubai and now he's gone. Many prayers to his family during this time." Now, Kylie Jenner, a longtime client of Guerrero, shared her own tribute on Tuesday, February 25th, and said the following. "Jesus was more than my friend. He was a light in my life, a source of laughter, comfort, love, and unwavering support. I don't know how I would have made it through the last almost decade without him by my side. He had a way of making even the heaviest days feel lighter." So then there was this thing that shocked the hell out of me. But after I finished reading what she also said, she said, "Your words, your laughter, your kindness, your beautiful spirit will live in my heart forever. I'll cherish all the moments together, every light and hug. I wish I could hug you again." So then this is the weird part. Oh, well, the family went and said this because I was like, let me not just jump the gun. They basically, "Our family would like to thank everyone for all the love and support during this hard time. Jesus was the brightest light. We have never doubted that he touched the hearts and lives of everyone he came across." Um, but Jennifer and Kylie weren't the only clients that he had. He also did the hair of Kendall and Kim Kardashian, Ken and Kendall Jenner, as well as Katy Perry, Rosalia, Demi Moore, Charlie XCX, Camila Cabello, Dua Peep, and Lisa of Blackpink. So, and here's the part where I come in where I'm side-eyeing the situation, not necessarily with the family, but in this situation. I'm sitting here like, why is it that with all the money that he's supposed to be making from these clients, why is the family uploading a GoFundMe? And I'm not saying that it was, I don't know what the financial situation was and all this other mess, but if I'm working with certain clients, shouldn't there be a GoFundMe? So that kind of made me wonder. It was like, well, damn, how much money was them celebrities paying him? Because I would have been like, yeah, but then again, you don't necessarily know his financial situation or if he had, because first of all, who in their 30s is even thinking about writing a damn will or whatever the case is? So maybe his money was all tied up and they couldn't, but then again, why would you want to use this kid's money to be paying for his own funeral? So we don't necessarily know how his his cointadas and all the other stuff was tied up. But in the midst of that, what in regards of the GoFundMe, they ain't got to worry about that. Trying to string up some money to be able to pay for his funeral. So they were able to raise $96,000 to help bury him, and which I thought was awesome. But what I thought was even more awesomer, and I know that's not a damn word, is that Kylie Jenner offered to pay for his funeral. So when I happened to hear that, I was like, okay, sis, I mean, she did say that this is like that they were extremely close. So I could definitely see why she would decide to be like, you know what, I'm going to cover the funeral expenses and, everything else that comes on with that. So it says when this GoFundMe was set up, we created it thinking we would have to take care of all the expenses ourselves. We didn't want to burden any clients with this. Our family deeply appreciates Kylie for later offering to cover funeral expenses and offering up all her help and support. The Hairstylist family added that the previously donated sum of $96K will go toward the costs associated with securing his belongings home and other unexpected expenses to settle his assets, saying that with his death being so unexpected there are many things that weren't set up for a time like this. The next several months will have many hoops we will have to jump through to ensure we honor him in the best way we can. Yeah, because funny enough, I was just talking about this yesterday, that when it comes down to, like, God forbid if anything happens to you, that how that money gets all wrapped up in the courts and you got to pay money to take this one off and put this and try to get access to this one's money. It's like, it's a whole headache because a lot of people don't put other people's names on their things. Like, God forbid if anything happens to me, this person has access to get this, and this. It'll get locked up in the banks. The banks will, have a hold on your money, and then nobody can have access to it. So there's a lot of issues that goes on with that. God forbid if anything happens. But they also said so I think this is actually awesome that she did this, because I know some people were like, well, is any of the celebrities gonna come in and chip in and help? And Kylie's net worth is $710 million, according to Forbes. So she has been in private communication with his family following the news. So she probably was like trying to find out information, be like, whatever y'all need, I got you, all this other stuff. And then at the time they created the GoFundMe, it was probably a sudden thing. They didn't want to, and I get it, you don't want to burden celebrities, be like, okay, well, my son worked for y'all, so y'all need to buck up and get the money. But it was nice that she came out of the goodness of her heart and did such a nice thing for the family, especially like if somebody, when you have a small group of people that are part of your glam squad and you've been with them for so long, you look at them as family, whether it's your hair, your makeup, your agent, your manager, all these little, if you have like a team of 10 people who help put you together, your stylist, all that stuff. God forbid if anything happens to them, me out of the kindness of my heart is like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely like be like, whatever you need, I got you, and I'm gonna help you out. And that's the type of person I am when it comes down to it. So kudos to you, Kylie. You did a good one, and condolences to Jesus's family, and all that good stuff. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Kylie Jenner and Jennifer Lopez and all of them hairstylist, well, he is a stylist, a hairstylist, passed away suddenly, and Kylie offered to cover all expenses. So what they're planning on doing with the GoFundMe money, which I think is relatively nice as well. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so y'all, let's move on and let's move to our next topic, which is the aftermath of this whole Joy Reid firation over at MSNBC, or as I like to call it sometimes, the Blue MAGA Network, because quiet as it's kept, MSNBC ain't no different than Fox News, except what Fox News does over there for Red MAGA, MSNBC does for Blue MAGA. So everybody's got their little cults. When you have your, your little situation, all that, and I guess a lot of y'all ain't gonna like what I got to say, but oh well. So, but we ain't never been, all about saying the most popular thing to make everybody feel great. But I will give it up to Rachel Maddow. Kudos to her for calling out MSNBC and what they did to her on their own damn network. So Rachel Maddow, who was MSNBC's most influential and reportedly highest paid anchor, I wonder how much she's getting paid, because word on the curve was Joy was getting $25 million. So I wonder how much Rachel's getting. So she basically took the extraordinary step of calling out her own network on Monday night, openly criticizing the latest programming shakeup that has resulted in the cancellation of shows hosted by MSNBC's only non-white primetime anchor. So it wasn't just Joy Reid that was getting canceled. It was a lot of people of color that they were bringing up. And I do have the video of Rachel speaking about this on her show. Please help.
PM hour, all the other nights except for Mondays. So that's a big change. An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think.
Okay, so you pretty much got the gist of what she had to say. This video goes on for 5 minutes. We're not going to have to play. We're not going. There's no need for us to play the whole thing, but I feel like you got the gist of what she had said, and I actually applaud her for speaking out for Joy Reid, who, no shade, I don't think Joy would have done the same thing if the shoe was on the other foot, but nevertheless, it was cute or whatever that you did what you did. But Reid was not the only one that was actually fired as well. Alex Wagner was fired. Also, because, Rebecca Cutler, who's the former CNN senior executive, became MSNBC's new president. They came in and she just basically just started cracking the whip and was like, okay, certain people got to go. But I find it funny that y'all got rid of Joy Reid and a bunch of these other people, but Joe and Miko, who, went over there and licked the crack of Trump ass the minute that he was elected over at Mar-a-Lago, they still got their job. Al Sharpton, who I don't know anybody that watches his damn show over there at MSNBC, still got his job. Then they were replaced by Michael Steele, who, comes out and says a couple of little fiery things, and it's like, oh yeah, we got somebody with some cojones, and it's like, whatever. MSNBC was working my root canal nerve, and I just don't think that it was only Joy Reid, her being black, that took a part in the reason why y'all got rid of her. I'm sure there's probably a little bit of that in there, but I think there's also other reasons. One, I think a lot of people were sick and tired of being lied to, because y'all sat and lied to the people in regards of like how Kamala Harris was tracking over in the whole election thing going up against Trump, because y'all knew after the first election of Joe Biden, who won by a slight margin, a slim margin, I should say, because people were pissed off at Trump over the whole COVID situation, how he handled it, which is why if you look at things now, he has, all these executive orders and all this other stuff. So it's like, you can't even print about this measles outbreak and all these other things that's going on in mainstream media. They're not talking about it because he started being like, oh, well, the mistakes I made before, I'm going to put things in place so that way that stuff doesn't get out. Hence why, if you go on a lot of federal websites, a lot of information about measles outbreaks and all these other viruses and all these other things that's going on is not up there, because he knew to do that part so that way y'all wouldn't get the information. You got to go on a lot of these progressive pundits channels to get the information, because you're not going to get it from the MSNBCs and CNN and all these other things, because the minute that man became president again, a lot of y'all went over there and started to bend the knee because y'all are afraid of the repercussions. And I will say this, even though there have been some things that people said was problematic about Joy Reid, number one, how she went and started posting things about, well, not even posted, but, well, we can get to the posting about the blog that she had, that she claimed that she was hacked, even though she said in her, when she had to speak on it, that there was no evidence of a hackation of her website where she was posting things that was homophobic and very anti John McCain and all things of that nature. But she was out here saying that she was hacked. But if the evidence wasn't there, just admit that you wrote what you wrote on there. You could have just said, that's how I was thinking back in the day. I don't think that way no more, and I apologize. We would have been a little more forgiving. But she didn't even come uncop to the fact that she made homophobic stuff. Yet and still, you got a whole lesbian over there at MSNBC, windmilling hard for you to get your job back. But you don't like marriage. Okay. Now, I don't know if her ministry is still there anymore. However, when you never cop to what you had said in them posts, kind of side-eyeing you a little bit, sis. And not only that, when Bernie Sanders was running, you was trying to you tried your damnness to sabotage his campaign, even so far as bringing some big back body language specialist on your damn show to discredit. Oh, he hunching over. That means he's being dishonest. I'm like, girl, get off my line. Because first of all, your back's so damn big, I can't tell if you slouching or if you sitting up straight. But you going to sit up in here and say that Bernie Sanders is doing. I said, yeah, he's an old man. You think old people sit up straight like how we do? Like, get out of here. Like, you were just saying a whole bunch of other stuff because y'all didn't like the fact that Bernie Sanders is what the people wanted, and y'all wanted to push in Hillary Clinton. Hence why I feel like at this point, and I did not want, it's funny how we talk about this stuff, but I knew politics was going to fly up in here, because hence why we talk about MSNBC. The Democrats' problem, why y'all keep losing, y'all keep trying to push in people that we ain't asked for. versus who the people want. Yeah, when we had Barack Obama and stuff, it was like he was giving this legion of hope and all this other stuff, but we were here for it, and that's why we voted for him. Hence then, because he wasn't supposed to do 8 years. Everybody was getting mad, like Hillary and all them. Oh, it's your time, so let's put her in. Why do you think she lost to Trump? We ain't want her. Same thing with Kamala. We didn't really want her. First, quiet as a scat, people didn't want her ass when she was the vice president. And y'all knew this, hence why the minute Biden became president, y'all hit her in a damn attic like she was Anne Frank. Same thing they doing right now with J.D. Vance. You ain't seen him since Trump been president. Hence why all the jokes is going on that him and he's the vice president and the actual president is Apartheid Clyde, who's out here right now going through his ketamine withdrawals in real time. So, yeah, because that's the word on the street, child. And we seen him go through his little ketamine withdrawal in real time. When it was the other day, they was asking him something, and I'm like, you're not even forming complete sentences. What the hell are you saying? So, and it wasn't, and so, yeah, so it was that. So it was the issue with the blog stuff and you trying to sabotage Bernie Sanders' campaign. And y'all was working overtime to do that. So, and then it wasn't only, so I feel like after everything that's been going on, people have just been tired of being lied to. And I've noticed that when I look on social media, I see a lot of older people talk about, where am I going to go get my news? And why, they're getting rid of so many people. I'm like, y'all really need to stop relying on legacy media. Legacy media has been lying to us for a long time. They're not willing to go and tell us what we need to talk about. And I will give her this, but not too much. I appreciate that she was out here speaking on Gaza and Israel and so that stuff. She was doing a little light work when it came to it. It was a little mild. She didn't give us the full heat, she didn't add a little extra sazon on the situation, but she did just enough that she get a slight little smack on the hand, but not a full lashing. So everybody trying to give Joy Reid like she's this revolutionary and we go, oh yeah, she was speaking out against, no. Really read between the lines. She wasn't going too hard. And in regards of this post-election, a lot of people's ratings over there at MSNBC has been dropping. But I say this, similar to Don Lemon, but I'll say this, instead of y'all sitting whining and crying about the fact that y'all losing your jobs, if you really doubt it, sis, and you really want to go against the establishment, like you trying to act like you've been doing over there at MSNBC, the real proof in the pudding is for you to go independent. If you were making the $25 million, which I believe was the same amount of money that Don Lemon was making before y'all fired him while he was still in the contract, by the way. Remember when they did that to him last year and he went independent? He loosened up the shackles a little bit. I still want Don to really go in and let have. He hasn't done that yet. Probably because he, hoping and praying sooner or later, the networks will still give him an opportunity. Let me tell you, it's so much better over here on the independent side. It's a little harder for us to make noise and to get out here and do whatever. But at the end of the day, we could say stuff, and me, the difference between me and these other crazy pundits, I'm going to bring you the facts. I'm not just going to sit up here and spew a whole bunch of BS like a Joe damn Rogan and all that mashed potatoes he got for a damn brain, and all because I want to be making those millions. And now when you look at it, the Midas Touch is kicking his behind. And his ratings are going down the toilet. And shout out to many other people that have been pointing this out, Pondering Politics and who was and Kyle Kalinske over there at Secular Talk. He's had his foot on Joe Rogan's neck from the beginning, especially when he started showing the grit that he's doing over there. And I don't understand you incels that sit over there and watch the foolishness that come out of his damn mouth, because he just go where the wind blows and the coin. But I feel like the reason why he went over there to the other side is because he was rejected by the centrist Democrats. So when they sit up here trying to say they go on a little more progressive at MSNBC, I'm calling BS on it. Y'all are not. Y'all are not. Y'all gonna sit up here and think, because somebody could just raise their voice a little bit, then it makes them progressive. No, y'all not speaking the way we speaking over here when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, so now they got lightweights, Simone Sanders ass kissing behind Michael Steele, who, remember, once upon a time was a part of Republican National Convention. He was running it. But now that the Republican Party was hijacked by the Trump Republicans. Once he reshaped the Republican Party, then all of a sudden you decided to jump off the ship and try to act like you've seen the light. And then you got Alicia Menendez. So yeah, while there are still people of color at MSNBC, these are the people that are going to bend the knee. They're not going to go so hard on Israel and Gaza because we already know that they literally trying to flatten out the West Bank and give all that to them, to Netanyahu, because all that money that Trump took, not only from apartheid Clyde, but Miriam Adelson. All that money she was giving him, but guess what? She was giving money to Biden too. But now that this is the new president, of course, she's going to want the West Bank. They've already taken most of Gaza. Now they want to turn that into a resort. They didn't want to turn that into Las Vegas, where there's a bunch of casinos and things of that nature out there, while y'all push all these people whose land it is rightfully theirs out. Colonization. Something that, clear folks are real good at. Colonizers. So, good luck to y'all. If y'all want to go and apply for a new job, I'll just say this, but you, Joy Reid, this is a blessing in disguise. If you really want to be about it, what you need to do is take that coin you got that you've been saving up, I'm sure, turn one of your rooms in your house into a studio. Instead of you having to spend money for a studio, you can just get some equipment, hire you a producer. You don't need a multitude. You can get you one producer. You can get you somebody that y'all come up with topics or whatever the case is, a nice editor, all other stuff that helps edit the show and all that. And you do a podcast. You do a show similar to like what we do over here, except I'm a party of one. I do all this by myself. So get you, a producer, since you got the cointadas, have all this set up, your lights, you could do your own hair and makeup. Or throw a wig on, sis. That's the one good thing about being a woman. Y'all can just throw a wig on, beat your little, throw a little makeup, a little nice lip gloss. The melanin is already popping, so you ain't got to worry about that. And you go and just run your mouth for an hour and a half or 2 hours or how long you want to do a show. And really tell the people and take off the guardrails. Go in and really give the people the tea that they need. And don't worry about legacy media, because legacy media ain't where it's at. Once upon a time, and I feel like I still have those aspirations, but I go back and forth with it. Hence why I think it's taking me so long to pop off. But I've wanted to get to a place where it's like, enough people see this show. And I put out there in the universe that I will get the opportunity to go and be on TV and have my own talk show in the vein of like a Wendy Williams, where I'm in an actual studio with an audience and doing all other stuff. And you see when they did Tamron Hall dirty, where she went, she got herself a show and has been greenlit for another season. So she's doing it. Screw NBC. After they did her dirty, look at her. She living it up now over at ABC with her talk show. That's doing well in the ratings. It was just greenlit for a 6th season. And they finally got it in syndication because you can watch it now on Hulu. And I was never able to really watch it. I could see the clips on YouTube, but now you can watch it on Hulu. So I'm wondering at this point, are they going to actually, within the next year, Tamron Hall's show is going to end up like The View and Sherry Shepherd and all them, where you could watch it on YouTube as well. That's only a matter of time. I think that's going to happen. But yeah, just go and set up your own show. You have you can go on Spotify, you can go on Apple Music or whatever it's called with the podcast and get your little sponsors. And you can have people send you super chats like they do with this show that I do, super stickers, whatever the case is. People could donate money if you really about trying to help the people, because that's what she said. And I'm going to show you, because she said it on her Instagram, which I saw a lot of people in the comments trying to throw shade. But this is what she said. Hold on.
Still painful. And I love my team. And, we created this incredible, multiracial, really interesting, eclectic team. And I feel awfully for them. I feel bad for my audience and for the people who love the readout, because I think we were actually doing a real service and doing good work and in analyzing the madness that's going on in a unique way. And I think representation matters, and not having a Black woman in that space doing it in that specific way, and having Alex Wagner, an Asian American woman, doing it in her specific way. It is it is not ideal, you know, in a time when we're facing such onslaughts against DEI and diversity, but it's still painful. And I love my team. And
so yeah, that's what she said. And it's like, yeah, it is painful. And I know like it feels bad because not only is she losing her job, but the people that worked at the show with her that was behind the scenes, they're out of a job too. So the industry is imploding. Mainstream network television media is imploding. The future is the internet. If people, you know, we have as I always say, we have a responsibility to give y'all the truth and not just be out here spewing stuff that sounds good. Because I could just sit up here and spew y'all a bunch of BS, but then y'all wouldn't watch. Hence is why y'all like when I keep it real over here, because I don't know any other way to do it. It's just the side effects of being a damn Virgo. It's like we just can't hold back when the stuff we say with our mouth. But for the most part, I just like, yeah, if you about it, sis, just go in, do your show, and take the guardrails off. And now, if you go independent, you could say all the things that you were being advised not to say, because you cannot tell me when y'all wasn't over at MSNBC and all them other networks that y'all don't be holding back on certain things that y'all could say. Because if you really want to go in and say the things you want to say about Palestine and Israel, you would be out of a job. Or you'd have been suspended for a week like Whoopi Goldberg. Remember when she said what she said about Jews, which wasn't even that bad? Or when Nick Cannon said what he said about the Jewish community, and it wasn't that bad, but y'all wanted to basically lay him over a table and have him get a lashing with a wet whip. That's literally where it was with that at that point. So shout out to you, Joy Reid. Even though I always say like nobody's perfect, so I always got to call out the good and the bad. But later on, like, you know, from where she came from back in the day versus the way she is now, I do applaud that she, even though it was, like I said, it was a little light work, but she did speak out against certain things. She was going a lot harder on Trump in certain situations, hence why I think also, because like I said, this current regime, a lot of the liberal media, blue MAGA media, is trying to take a different approach because they don't want to deal with the wrath of this loudmouth, cottonmouth loser that we have for a damn president. So I say all this, and I can say that because we all from New York, he from Queens, and so am I. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Joy Reid losing her job over there at MSNBC, and what do you think she should go? Like I said before, I think she should just go independent, like her good friend, Don Lemon, and so many others, and don't rely on legacy media. Legacy media is not what it used to be. So, and a lot of people are just over getting their information from legacy media. I think in the last year, more people are getting their information off the internet. And I know I see a lot of legacy media people, including them over at The View, trying to scoff at us that's over here doing this job. But if y'all was actually doing your job and wasn't sitting licking the crack of these corporate people's ass, if you was doing your job, then we wouldn't have a job to do over here in regards of picking up the slack that y'all just kind of left to the side because them $9 million a year salaries is more important than actually telling the people what they need to know in regards of what's going on in their everyday lives. So I say all that to say, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so I know we have comments because I seen a couple, and I did see your comment, Robert, but I didn't get to it right away. But you said you here and fuck YouTube for allowing the channel to broadcast. Oh, did they? Oh, I think I saw you posted something like that. And I can say it's racist because all people of color was fired but told they could audition again. And Megyn Kelly, you sure love to shut down the Brit. We don't care about that. See you next Tuesday. Don't forget, he's also controlling the press room and it's only conservative. Yeah, and we all knew that was coming because didn't they say a couple of weeks ago that when the thing happened between the Associated Press, because they refused to say Gulf of freaking America, which is stupid, by the way. It's been the Gulf of Mexico for the past 400 years. Just because you want to come in and change something doesn't mean that it's so, because the pen, executive order, that pen probably worked more than you work your dick. But so then, with them saying that, I said that was only a matter of time before that was coming. That when they cracked down on the Associated Press, because they checked them in the White House. Now what it's going to be is literally about to become North Korea. And y'all still out here, Delulu, thinking, oh, this is just a joke. Don't take it seriously. He doesn't mean it. Okay. Well, y'all did notice yesterday they talked about that they're slashing Medicaid and Medicare, as well as SNAP programs. So y'all still thinking he's joking? At what point is the rock bottom for y'all to like wake up? I'm just waiting. So you said you basically can't do unalive threats to Elon Musk. I'm over him. I have news for Don. Legacy media won't hire you. Your history of how you treated women is why you were fired. Blue MAGA is like the German conservative party that won. And the new left party is progressive party. At least they were accepted. And look, I saw a friend of my earlier post on social media. We need a makeover. We need to overhaul the same way that they did, with Trump and all of them over there. And we're not saying we need to act and do like them. We could be, the new progressive part. Like, yeah, so Democrats definitely need a makeover. Not to the point of the racism and all that stuff. They can keep that. Even though a lot of them try to deny that that's how a lot of them think. But y'all do. The racism, the xenophobia, the homophobia, like I said, if it don't apply, let it fly. The transphobia, all that other stuff. So, we definitely need a new progressive makeover. And because this other thing ain't working, that patheticness that I saw on TV where you got Chuck Schumer, old ass, and then you got Miss Reclaiming My Time. You know, I love me some Maxine Waters, but girl, you was embarrassing when I was looking at you in that damn video. We will win. We will win. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, y'all, if y'all don't believe this shit, you think the people watching this gonna believe it? They probably looking like, well, damn, we are doomed. And then you got old crooked teeth over there, Hakeem Jeffries, trying to be the face of the Democratic Party. He's a mess. I'm like, no, you need to sit your ass down. And if y'all not going to fight, you need to let people stand up that will. And don't even get me started on Eric Adams, because I saw some video earlier about these Negroes want me to step down. I said, I know you ain't calling me a damn Negro, because it take one to know one, sir. Yeah, we want your ashy ass out. We all do. No sponsors. Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, no sponsors, because when you do sponsors, the sponsors is I feel like the sponsor thing, you're beholden to what they want. Like if I was to get sponsored stuff for this show, it's got to fit in with like stuff that I would actually use. Like if it was deodorant or like dude wipes, which I do buy. Like if it was certain things like that I'm like trying to sell you, or skin creams and this, that, and the other to help y'all from being ashy during these dry nights in New York City during the winter, then I was like, okay with that. And then they give you like certain token points. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, when you got to watch out for those sponsors, because that's exactly why over at Legacy Media, they can't say what they're saying, because they're beholden to certain sponsors. And when you have certain sponsors that don't want you speaking on certain things, like Ukraine, like Gaza, you have to be pro-Israel, which I was cackling in some of those pro-Israel videos that I was seeing, and the way they were painting this negative picture towards Palestinians. I'm like, y'all cannot be serious putting this on my damn TV. But that's what they're doing. The Ukraine vote is with Russia, Israel, Syria, and China. 9 states want a resolution of gay marriage. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. They say bald women don't get good ratings. Well, there's quite a few people that are in the situation that are not bald that were not canceled. So I'm not agreeing with that. Okay, well, that person was banned. Because I'm like, you're not putting that shit up in here. Okay, so where are we going now? Okay, so now let's move on to this story with Don Lemon, who, has basically gone in and let have a Megyn Kelly. I think they were still going back and forth on this. However, I didn't care enough to sit and follow the back and forth. So I didn't proceed on with it, because I know like Don Lemon was going hard for his friends. Speaking of people, because we talked earlier, and that's why I was bringing this up, because you had Rachel Maddow, who was defending her friend, and now you have Don coming in to defend his friend. So he said the following. So now Megyn Kelly decided to jump on social media and talk about she's a racist and all this other stuff. And how many times have I told y'all, Black people cannot be racist? I know it's so hard for you clear folks to realize that, but Black people cannot be racist. You can be prejudiced. You can say things that, you know, against other people, but we cannot be racist. Number one, you ain't never seen no Black people out here oppressing people like the way white folks have historically. So that's usually what racism stems from. The ability to have the power to oppress someone who is under you, that does not have the same level of power that you do. Hence is why y'all be trying to take woke and turn that around and weaponize that word and turn it into a negative, which we're not allowing. So yeah, he didn't pull any punches on his show, basically calling out her, Megyn, for attacking MSNBC anchor Joy Reid. Now, if we're going to talk about who's an actual racist, it would be this bitch in the middle. Because remember that time when she was on her show, I think it was on NBC or something or another, and there was a whole debate up there with it, and Joan Rivers' daughter, Melissa Rivers, and it was some white dude and some other people. So they're literally up here debating about blackface with no Black people on the damn panel. Make that make sense. And this is what I don't understand when it comes to white folks. Y'all literally will get on TV and debate things that you have no inclination of or no educational source of whatever. But then you bring white people, and just because you get a little spray tan don't make you Black. Just because you spread your legs with some Black dick does not necessarily mean you can speak for the Black community. You need to have some actual Black folks up there that can not only educate, but to let y'all know what the tea was. But again, I'm from the school of, I'm sick and tired of us always having to come in to educate y'all on stuff you should be privy to. You too damn grown and too damn old to not understand the history of blackface and equate it with, oh, like it's Halloween and people dress up as a Navi or dress up as the Wicked Witch and put green paint on. Well, guess what? Green paint, blue paint, that shit comes off. Black paint, that don't come off. Well, if you Black. But then again, there are things out here, creams and soaps and all kinds of other stuff. When you can bleach your skin, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But for the most part, that's the skin you was born with. That don't come off in the wash like green and blue paint. And for dizzy ass clear bitches like her to act obtuse on purpose on TV because you need a rating, and then was on her show shaking with the voice. Oh, so sorry, I didn't know. You know how they be getting. You know how the Karens get. And I'm talking about Karens. I ain't talking about all white people. And this is why I said this irritates my spirit when I gotta come on here and I always gotta do some, not all. If it don't apply, let it fly. I guess that's gonna be the line I'm gonna be using ad nauseum today. But I do have the clip of Don, dear old Don, over on his channel during his Hot Topic segment, talking about, and shout out to DL Hughley for pulling this clip, where he was talking about it. Please hold.
So let me just say to Megyn Kelly, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person of color, go fuck yourself. Okay?
Now, hold on. Didn't Jasmine Crockett tell Elon Musk to do the same damn thing? Please hold.
I usually don't like to talk about her because she's one of those people, she thrives on it. She has built the second part of whatever of her career on being a troll. So this is what Megyn Kelly said about Joy Reid, right? And remember, Joy Reid is a woman, Megyn Kelly's a woman. She's supposed to be all about women and, you know, supports women. Okay, so this is what she said. Remember when Joy Reid laughingly mocked white women tears as pathetic and offensive to her? Who's crying now, Joy? Good riddance to the absolute worst person on television, and shame on NBC for letting it go on this long. And she has a, you know, she is an axe to grind when it comes to MSNBC. And also, this whole, she's racist, right? It's just, I'm gonna give you the evidence. Supposedly learned from it and then spent every day after apologizing for it and being fired for it, then spent every day proving the point that she is a racist. And not very supportive of women. If you look, all you have to do, the evidence is in her Google search and what she says about women, how she calls them out all the time. The worst person. No, Megyn Kelly. The worst person on television was fired from NBC in the Today Show a few years ago, and that's Megyn Kelly. That's the worst person who's not on television anymore. Is you. That's the worst person who's not on television. So hoorah for that. NBC did something good with that. You know why? I like to give proof of things, evidence. Like when I said Donald Trump, the president of the United States, was racist, it wasn't my opinion. This isn't my opinion about Megyn Kelly. The evidence is there. I'm going to show you the evidence of Megyn Kelly, and that's just as I showed you the evidence of Donald Trump. So let me just say to Megyn Kelly, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person.
Okay, so they're basically in the clip today. So there was some people in the comments. This is one person: I am living for Don Lemon Unleashed. I want this type of freedom for Joy Reid. She would thrive on YouTube. I did say that earlier when I was talking about her with Rachel Maddow. Another person said, love me some Don Lemon Pepper. You like me. Well, we like to change people's names. And it said to sip from the cup after the F-bomb meant he was committed and needed to make sure his throat was ready. You look. Did y'all see that episode of Pose when Electra was about to read that white woman down when they was in the Hamptons? It was like, all right, take a sip, coat the throat, read the bitch. And that's what he did. Because sometimes that's what you got to do. And you know, Megyn Kelly will sit up there and try to read, which she can't, because I don't think any homosexuals like her ass. Because have you seen what she looked like with the hair and makeup? She clearly doing her own hair and makeup in the dark. So shout out to Don Lemon for speaking up for his friend Joy Reid and reading this bitch down to the ground. Because I ain't never liked Megyn Kelly grifting ass. But that ain't the only people he decided to go in on too. He went in on closeted homosexuals. So hold on. Because I saw this video. Shout out to the Jasmine brand. Because there was a video that they posted over on a TikTok where he claimed that married men regularly hit on him at Republican events. He also referenced reports from last July that the LGBTQ dating app Grindr allegedly crashed during the Republican National Convention conference in Milwaukee. Well, we already make jokes about that, but you know, there was always a little truth when I make my jokes. But we all knew that. It was like, I know that Grindr is going ham at this RNC, because I cannot tell you how many closeted faggots is on that side. So we have that clip, and we're going to play what he had to say. Please hold.
At Republican events from married people.
Married men.
Yeah.
The same men that go around asking what a woman is.
Yeah. And saying that liberals are groomers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are blowing up Grindr at the Republican convention. Got it. I get hit on a lot at Republican events.
So, and I'm sure that there are many a prostitute on the male side that can tell you some stories about these officials that are literally out here trying to roll back all the progress that we've made. And it may not be a lot, but it's enough. Well, it's enough for now, but we do need, we got far more to go in regards to the progress in regards of queer rights, especially when it comes to our trans brothers and sisters. So you got these people that self-hating ass homos out here who are trying to roll back stuff because that grift and that coin is way more important because they got whatever shame that they got they dealing with their sexuality, that they're willing to roll back a lot of our rights for what? For a little fame? For a little moment in the spotlight? For a bump in your pay? I hope it's worth it. But guess what? You ain't getting, well, I was going to say, you ain't getting none of this nookie. I ain't about him, so you was never going to get this ass. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? And yeah, fuck you, bitch, in regards of Miss Megyn Kelly. But all the other stuff, including the closet homosexual stuff, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. So now, and I'm gonna get to y'all comments in a second, but let me get through this one because look, they're trying to say that this bloodbath of non-white actors is continuing over there at MSNBC, which I do believe, like in some parts, there is a bit of there might be some racism that plays into it, but I guess at this point it's like maybe people aren't registering with the anchors of color as they are with white people. So unfortunately, yeah, we're losing a lot of people over here at MSNBC, unfortunately. But like I said, go to leave legacy media alone, go to the regular media, as in go on social media and get your information from there. But look for the people that actually are willing to spew the truth and not owned by corporate donors and things of that nature. So, wait, hold on. Oh yeah, I saw a video where Megyn was saying here's her white one. Yeah, that's why this man played it in the video. Like Jane Fonda said, woke means you give a damn about people. That is exactly what it means. It's to that simple term. And clearly it goes to show a lot of you people, if you don't care about folks, then okay, but don't expect the same from us when something that affects you, you want us to come to your aid. Like I was saying about the Latinos and Latinos for Trump. I voted for Trump, but now my family's being deported. We need black people to come over here and help. No, we try to tell you. We tried to warn you. We tried to tell you. Now, don't get me wrong. Getting with Kamala wasn't no better. But at least if she was getting in office, if there was anything that she was doing that we was against, like what was going on over in Palestine and all the other mess, we could have been out in the streets protesting and holding her to task. She wasn't going to do the things that he's doing and implicating and putting in place now. So there could have been a way there that we could have came in and still held her feet to the fire. Everybody running around scared of this man whose brain is basically on the decline. Megyn Kelly hate NBC, and we know why. She was fired for being okay. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. And it's funny. This is why I don't be reading y'all comments, because I don't want that to influence. I read the comments after because I don't want that to influence my thought. But then I see that y'all agree. And that Santa Claus. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that too. When it's like, first of all, Santa Claus not black. Oh, and this bitch had the nerve to say Jesus was black. That was another thing they said too. I'm like, really? Because what white man y'all seen walking around with brown skin and hair made of wool? I'll wait. But every time you see Jesus on TV, he look like Jim Damn Caviezel, or that idiot. I heard some stories about him. Yeah, he's horrible too. Hence why I guess he's doing the sequel with Mel Gibson of The Passion of the Christ. First of all, Jesus died at the end. How the hell y'all still waiting for his ass to show the fuck back up? So how you making a sequel? Make that make sense. And who paying for it? As I love how Britney Spears shaded her ass. She's best friends with the token gay. I don't know who them heifers are, nor do I care. As that Megyn Kelly's tone is so synonymous with Nutmeg McCain. Funny, we got two nutmegs. We got Megyn Kelly and Nutmeg McCain. That perhaps the name of these crying wolf white females should be Karen, but Megyn, because they are SOS, just different. Well, funny enough, I think at one point he was calling them Megans. Maybe I need to go back to that. It's mainly straight married men with pedophiles and in the closet. So let's not forget that. But anyway, let's move on from this MSNBC stuff, because let's let legacy media, cannibalize itself from the inside out. So let me get a little coat of water. Let me coat this throat, like Don Lemon did in 2 of his little videos, because we got to talk about Miss Shangela. So before we get to what Eric had to say, aka Dakota Payne, I was on TikTok when I had posted it, and shout out to all the people, because I knew it was going to blow up, that on all the other platforms and stuff, including on YouTube and on Twitter, TikTok, I saw people were defending Shangela. And don't worry, I'm gonna get in y'all ass in a second, because I wrote down what I wrote down, especially when I went over to Out Magazine Facebook page, and I was reading what a lot of you punks was writing in there, basically Team Shangela and victim blaming this man. But we're gonna get into that in a second. But before we get to that, we like to do the two sides of the situation. I don't only want to just come in here and windmill hard on Shangela, because Shangela did speak up and gave her side of the story in regards to the allegations that Eric has said against her. So someone on TikTok, basically when I posted the video that I did the other day, 2 days ago, the whole clip, they asked me, they was like, did you see her response? I was like, no, I didn't see it. But of course, me doing the show today, I wound up getting it all together. So Shangela took to social media on Tuesday to respond to a new SA lawsuit filed earlier this week. Now, on Monday, Eric Poff, who performs under adult film pseudonym Dakota Payne, filed a civil lawsuit against the performer, whose real name is Darius Jeremy Pierce, in New York Supreme Court. Now, Poff accused Pierce of SAing him in October of 2017 while filming the film Hurricane Bianca 2. Which you know was the Bianca Del Rio movie. Now, Poff, a production assistant, claimed he went drinking with Pierce, who starred in the film during a night out in New York. Poff alleged his drink was spiked, although the complaint does not specify who he felt was responsible and that he blacked out after. Per the filing, Poff claimed that when he regained consciousness, an unknown man and Pierce SA'd him in Pierce's hotel room. So yeah, he may not know who spiked him because he probably turned his head. Somebody went and put something in his drink or whatever the case is. Who knows how the whole thing played out? The fact of the matter was he was allegedly drugged. They went back to the room and he was allegedly assaulted. Yes, we got to say alleged because innocent until proven guilty. So now the complaint followed Rolling Stone's investigation last year into SA allegations from 5 accusers against Pierce, along with a separate civil lawsuit settlement. Now, it's funny how they was, somebody wound up saying, oh, he won all his cases. A settlement is not a win on a case. So I don't know what people running around here talking about, oh, they won the lawsuit or Shangela won her lawsuits. It's a settlement. We don't know what's in the settlement, especially with the settlement that she had with Daniel McGarrigle, who y'all know, and I'm gonna keep tooting, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm gonna keep promoting it. I interviewed him last year. Or was it 2 years ago? I don't remember. I interviewed him when he talked about it in the situation. It's up on my YouTube. Y'all can look for it. It's up there if you want to see it. And I did post something on Out's Instagram, and I did see that Daniel McGarrigle liked it, by the way. So I want to point that out. So yeah, so Shangela took to her page over on the IG and said the following. Hi, y'all. I started off my week super grateful for life, texted with my mom, repacked my drag bag, and just been minding my own little gay business. Because she got to emphasize the fact that she petite, I guess, because that's the argument that a lot of y'all have been coming out with, saying that, oh, because she's little, that she's not capable of assaulting someone. Because we're all about size. You got to be, 6'5" and 400 pounds. You got to look like, I guess, Austin Wolf to be considered a rapist, according to y'all. You didn't say it, but the implication is there based off of some of the comments I've been reading. So then it goes, then here comes the BS. Being falsely accused in the most heinous ways is very difficult to endure. I'm advised to stay silent, and I'm doing my best to continue on without engaging in a back and forth with dishonest people seeking money or a moment. It's not worth it, I tell myself. Even though none of these false claims have ever prevailed against me, my career, my character, and even my family have suffered. I appreciate all of y'all who see through this type of mess and have even checked on me during dark times. Honestly, my heart thanks you. Growing up in a small town, my dream was always to entertain people and hopefully make a positive impact on the world. I worked nonstop publicly and privately to achieve this. I never imagined, though, that fulfilling my dream would also come with shocking betrayals and slanderous attacks. It seems like the further you go, the more some people want to see you fail, but I won't give up. I hope none of you have ever had to go through this. It hurts. The goal is to characterize a successful gay drag queen as a threat. My goal is to never let evil win. I will continue to fight back with my truth, and with time, I know the truth will prevail. Still grateful for life and setting love always, XO Shanji. Now, here's the thing. That's cute or whatever, and you know what? Everybody has their day where they should come out and say what it is they want to say. However, why did you disable the comments? That's what I want to know. Or is it that you just don't want to hear from, I guess, the people who are going to love and support you, and then those who actually going to be like, you're a liar, da-da-da-da, so on and so forth. So you want to control the narrative. And also, why is that? Because I know I made the mistake, and that's why I want to clear that up. I said it was 7 victims. It's 6. 6 makes Dakota Payne. So how is it that we have all these people that have come out and said that you did this to them, but you're saying that they're trying to take a successful gay man down? Bill Cosby said the same thing. Diddy said the same thing. And we've seen the overall situation, the evidence, and a lot of people coming out and saying that, yeah, they were aware of certain things. I do find it relatively interesting that a lot of people have remained silent on the stuff that Pierce has said. But like I said, everybody has a right to say whatever it is that they, if you're saying that this is not true, then okay, we'll see how that works out. But this is someone who's coming out and filing these allegations. And I told y'all this before. I know somebody else who is in the adult film world, still makes films, who said that Shangela did the same thing to him. Now, he has not come out and filed any allegations. He said the same similar thing that happened to Dakota Payne happened to him. They were out at a nightclub. It was him and a couple of people. He even sent me the photo of them together in the club. It was him, Shangela, and another dude. We had a back and forth in the conversation. And I was like, whenever you're ready to tell your story, then that's in your own time. And he said the reason why he didn't say anything is because as an adult film star, he thought it was his fault. Because people look at it as like, yeah, when you're in the sex work situation, that, oh, you asked for this. Oh, well, you do sexual things for a living. So therefore, you could be leading people on, or people are getting mixed signals and things of that nature. So there's that. Now, we also have, in addition to all of this, Dakota Payne has told his side of the story. So, wait, hold on. Let me see if it was. Okay, so, Eric did speak to Out exclusively and said the following. He said, this experience feels like I won the lottery and I didn't want to sign up for, that I never asked to join. Now, before I get into what he fully went on to say in this article, I want to actually play you this video we played it before on the show, where he told his side of the story, and this was months ago that he came out and said this before he officially went live with this whole court situation, the violation. So hold on, we'll play that clip and then we'll come back. Please hold.
Hi there. I wanted to do a little story time and get something off my chest. Last weekend, I was out in West Hollywood with some friends at a restaurant, and I saw the person who sexually assaulted me getting sat on the back patio. So I took a moment, took a beat, gathered myself, and went up to his table and let him know, hey, I know what you did, and you know what you did, and I believe all those boys' stories, referring to the Rolling Stone article about them. He looked me in the eye and he said, I'm sorry you feel that way. So a little backstory. In 2017, I was a PA on the set of Hurricane Bianca 2. I'd gone out with the cast and crew a handful of times, very excited to be around these popular drag queens and on set, in New York City. It wasn't until we had finished wrapping and I went out with this one queen one-on-one that I had this isolated experience where I came to in a hotel room with them and another person having sex with me. I don't remember getting there. I don't remember where it was. I don't remember if this person was an escort, hiring them. And that night I was made to feel like, oh, you wanted this, but you wanted this. I also remember that night telling them, well, that felt a lot like work. Basically, if you're gonna treat me like a whore, pay me like a whore. This happened. I compartmentalized, swept it under the rug, And it wasn't until the Rolling Stone article came out and I saw that there's so many other instances of sexual assault from this person. And so many people's stories were so similar to mine. And then, I can't avoid them on social media. Even if I block this person, they're gonna show up on a For You feed, or, they were just at a ceremony for a bar in West Hollywood being marked as a safe space, hugging up on the owner. And so, To the person who said, I'm sorry you feel that way. DJ, I'm sorry you feel the way that you do. I'm sorry that you are comfortable going into our queer spaces and that every place you go into, you kind of threaten the safety of the space. I'm sorry that your name is going to be synonymous for the deeds, and all the projects you've had the opportunity of being on are going to be tarnished. I'm sorry that you are not on a path of atonement and that whatever's happening with you is just festering. And I'm really sorry to all of the victims, to everyone whose body you violated. I'm sorry if they're not believed. I'm sorry if their trauma is being overshadowed by your popularity. So, I'm sorry.
Okay, so there. So I just want to give y'all a recap of that video that he put out around the time when the Rolling Stone did that expose on the people that had said that Shangela did what they did to them, in addition to Daniel McGarrigle. So it was Daniel McGarrigle, it was 4 other people, and then Dakota basically went on his Instagram. I think he had said something in a tweet or whatever, but then after a while, I think it was like maybe 24, 48, or 72 hours, within a 3-day period, he made a video, which is the one I just showed y'all. So on Monday, as y'all know, he filed the complaint against Shangela. And damn, they got a whole name. They get put Shantize, Darius, Jeremy. I don't know what their name is. That look like a woman's name. But anyway, so Poff said he met Pierce in 2017 while filming Hurricane Bianca. He said a select number of the crew and cast had gone out a handful of times in Hell's Kitchen to little gay bars, post-shooting hangouts. It wasn't until production had wrapped that I'd gone out to hang with DJ 101 and this night happened. Leading up to the night out, he described having a friendly co-worker relationship with Pierce, saying, I'm a fan of Drag Race and I was a fan of DJ, so I felt comfortable. I thought I felt safe hanging out with someone who I thought that I knew based on limited experience working with them and having seen them on TV, which I believe also what he's saying is the same exact reason why we have people out here defending DJ and thinking that, oh, well, he couldn't be capable of doing that because you're seeing Shangela, the person you've seen on TV, because y'all like being up in there hallelujahing along with her. And it was cute or whatever for when she was on there. But like I always tell y'all, you don't know these people outside of when the lights, camera, action is going on. So we should believe victims when they say what they've said. However, I'm not saying we should just blankly believe a victim. We should always say what they say at face value until the case, whatever happens. But we should also look at the evidence and try to see where they're coming from. Whereas you got Shangela out here weaponized, they trying to take a gay black man down, which is always the go-to when it comes to, I hear a lot of people, whenever y'all come after certain people, you said it about Diddy, you said it about Bill Cosby, you say it about R. Kelly. Oh, y'all trying to take a black man now. Just because somebody got money, just because somebody's got access, just because you like someone and you like their music and you like what they do, does not necessarily mean they're not capable of doing heinous things. So people still need to get out of that. Now, as detailed in Monday's complaint, Poff had 1 or 2 drinks before reportedly losing consciousness. Poff's next memory, as he recalls, took place inside a hotel room while he was anally penetrated by a man he did not know. Now, Pierce, according to Poff, watched it unfold from the corner of the room. The complaint goes on to allege that Pierce then penetrated him up the poop chute without his consent, saying, I don't think I was meant to gain any kind of consciousness. I don't think that I was meant to see anything or have any memory of experience. I think I was meant to have gone out, wake up and be like, oh, you were crazy. Ha, that happened. Goodbye. Like he's done with so many other fans. Now, Pierce's defense, Poff says, alleged that the two went out that night, met up with someone, had a threesome, and joked about it the next morning. And then Dakota suddenly just asked me for payment. That's what he said. This isn't Poff's recollection of the events. And this is what Dakota said. He says, I don't have any contact in my phone where it's like, oh, remember that time we had a threesome with DJ? There's no person in my life. I have no recollection. We did not meet up with anyone that night. That didn't happen. This John Doe person, I just have a recollection of what he looked like and what he was being done when I did come to. He was not there in the morning when we allegedly woke up and joked around about it. There was no third person. There was no talks of, oh, wasn't that crazy? None of that. Following the alleged assault, Poff recalled the experience with mutual friends in an attempt to let people know what happened. However, Poff believes that things kept being swept under the rug. He often heard advice like, you just need to hold your head up high and be ready to work in environments with people like that, which I'll tell you firsthand. There's a lot of them running around in this business. A lot of rapists. I know I should be using it. It's supposed to say R word, but let's call it what it is. You got a lot of perverts. You got a lot of pedophiles. You got a lot of rapists running around in this fucking business. And a lot of times what people do is look the other way, hold your head up high, because if you take it to court, if you do all this other stuff, you'll be blacklisted. You won't get another job. So people just go along with it. Especially if you're in a place of power, because that's what sexual assault is about. It's not about getting your damn jollies off. It's a kink to some people. It's a way of showing that you have power and authority over someone who doesn't have what you have. That's what that is about. Same thing, man. We got to keep reminding people what woke truly means. Is what we got to remind y'all what SA means. So, after years of silence and ruminating on the experience, running into Pierce at a bar in West Hollywood in 2024 was a turning point for him. He says, I was just festering and frustrated and I felt powerless. I just happened to see him, and as calmly and as collected as I could, I went and I let him know how I felt. Hence why I showed y'all the video. But this is a follow-up to what he said in that Instagram post. Now, Pierce's reaction pushed Poff to share his story, saying that it was the dismissal. It was the change of look in his eyes when he looked up from his table, surely thinking this was going to be another fan encounter, someone singing his praise. He recognized me and the shift in his face, and then how easily it was for him to just say, I'm sorry you feel that way. And the people at his table wouldn't even look up. They wouldn't look at me. Eyes down the whole time. The whole thing felt so awful. I just felt compelled to make a video because that's the only thing that was in my control. Now, it goes on to talk about how he rose to fame as Shangela on season 2 of Drag Race, and then came back during season 3, and then All Stars and all that stuff. And then how he ended up on Dance with the Stars. The Stars won Hurricane Bianca. Y'all know the drill. Now, Dakota's lawyer, James A. Vagnini, says it's time for Pierce to take accountability, saying, I think it's very telling that Pierce's response has been to go on attack. It's very rare that I've had a case where it's just been one survivor that's come forward and nobody else has ever said, me too. That is the whole basis of the Me Too movement. It's just a way to shield and put more fear into people into not coming forward and in this situation. Now, Vanini also claims that DJ and his legal team are using politics and the community as a weapon back. Didn't I say that? And I said that in the other episode. This is damaging to the community. Well, what's damaging to the community is the fact that there's a predator running around drugging people. There's a pattern of it that now dates back to 2014 from the people we've spoken to. This is why he says big defense lawyers are brought in, because they've got to limit the amount of exposure that their client has and to keep as many people from coming forward. Taking accountability, which is the right thing to do, is never an option, no matter the amount of evidence I've got, no matter going all the way in a legal claim. It is the fear of the floodgates opening that forces them into this position, because otherwise there would be a conversation out there. There would have been a conversation had in LA where Eric ran into him and opened the door. By the end of the day, Pierce is the only one who knows what he's done already, says Vanini. But there's a lot of people out there, and there will be more to come, as you see in the next steps. Which they're basically saying that, there may be some more bodies, and I'm sure I would not be surprised if there is, that they said that, guess what? We heard from some other people. I'm hoping actually it's one of my friends that comes forward next and reveals this tea. But like I said, in their own time, So we'll wait and see how it is, but there's more to the story. So let me continue. Now, Vanini claims that he made contact with other survivors in other cities that have shared similar stories, including a John Doe being in the room when they woke up. I just really want to address that as a member of the community. They're doing a bigger disservice to the community by not taking some level of accountability and ownership in this. This isn't a drag issue. This is a human issue. Men, women, every day go through the experiences like this. Unfortunately, to mask it in sort of we're doing to the community and drag in particular is really, really offensive. It damn sure is. Because I was going to say this, what you're not going to do is sit up in here and hide behind the fact that you're a black drag queen and sit up and say, oh, y'all trying to set us back all these other years. There's always one rotten apple that ends up spoiling a bunch. Whether you are homosexual, whether you black, whether you're a woman, whether you're of any other marginalized community, there's always that rotten apple in there that like to hide behind them damn, what was the word? During their being marginalized, I'll say, as a shield and a cloak for them to do the dirty things. And then when you find out that they were doing these things, then you're left disappointed. This is why I say, don't sit up and put these people on these pedestals because you're going to end up disappointed. So basically, Pierce and his lawyer have not responded to Out's request for comment. Meanwhile, Dakota remained steadfast and said the following. He said, I understand how it upsets people, and trust me, I did not want to do this. As someone who also does drag, as someone who, because word on the street was that I believe he was going to try out for Drag Race, the current one. That was the tea that I heard from someone, that I believe he did try out for Drag Race. Child, could you imagine that? And you know what? I don't know if he would have probably, I would have loved to have seen Dakota make it on there, but if he was going to make it on, then he would have probably had to keep this secret. And then there would have been ties into, yeah, he comes out and says something, but also your connection to Drag Race because of Shangela. So people need to realize that, yes, men and women go through this all the time. It is time that we start holding people to accountable. So yeah, he said he didn't want to do it. As someone who also does drag, as someone who has performed in adult entertainment, I don't want to have to be this person to call him out, but it seems like I'm the only one that can. We have to hold our own accountable. Now, minutes before the Out interview with Eric was published, Shangela shared a new statement on Instagram claiming to be falsely accused in the most heinous ways. And I did post that on the page. In regards to that. But here's what I said on the matter, because after I went over there on Out's page, because that's how I found out about it, it happened to show up on my feed over on Facebook. And then I'm sitting there reading the comments, and I swear, I kid you not, I wanted to cuss every last one of them out over there. But I was like, you know what? I can't be out here windmilling hard. I can't be out here cussing, because you got a platform like the one I'm using now, and that's where I'm going to use it to say what I'm going to say. While a lot of y'all just got your little fingers that you could just type over there in their comments. Because some of the stuff they were saying on there was ruefully or woefully, whatever you want to go. I'll say it was just ignorant. So, because they were just like, oh, he's making it up and all this other stuff. But I'm like, did y'all even read the article or did you read the headline? Because he said that I didn't want to come forward and do all of this. But based off of how he reacted when I saw him out at a bar in West Hollywood, and I felt the need, something in me said, I need to confront you because I know what you did to me. And you're not going to get away with it. And I'm sorry you feel that way. If a bitch said that to me, oh, I would have, hair would have been getting ripped out of roots. I'd have been in jail. And the worst part to get arrested is on the weekend because you ain't seeing the judge until Monday. So I would have risked it. Look, I've been arrested before for assault. I told y'all. So basically, I said the following. So I was like, when I came across this article via Out's Facebook page, I was outraged reading the comments from a bunch of sissies who were willing to victim blame instead of believing that men can be sexually assaulted. So here's what I wrote in the comments. The fact that we have a bunch of punks in here using the same tactic of victim blaming, which is the same comments they make whenever a woman accuses a male of their male faves of assault, is absolutely disgusting. Y'all think you know these people because you are hallelujahing right along with them on a reality TV show? SA goes underreported in this country all the time, especially when it's a same-sex assault. Some of y'all victim blame it in the comments when you weren't even there, need to go touch grass, because if you were a victim of assault, trust and believe, you'd be singing a different tune. Weren't Diddy and Cosby accused of drugging their victims as well before they took advantage of them sexually? I'm sure a lot of y'all believe they were guilty out the gate because they fit the profile. Shangela couldn't possibly be capable of such things because she's effeminate and petite. What a crock of shit. Now, if any future rebuttal, any future rebuttal on what I have to say on this matter, go argue with your mammy because I don't give a fuck. End scene. And that's what I said in that whole situation. And I ain't changing. So that's all I got to say on this story. And I want to hear from you all. What do you think in regards to this? I know this was a long one. We had to bring in all the sides. I had to bring in Shangela's point of view. I had to bring in his point of view. And when he spoke exclusively out on this, and it's like, yeah, we need to start holding people accountable. Stop always trying to put your faves on a pedestal because you've seen them on TV or you've seen them out performing and you think they're this amazing person. And I'm sure talent-wise, you can eat up a room and I live for it. But if you out here doing sinister things and having a pile of victims leaving them in your way, and you think because you're a celebrity that you can get away with it, and you want to hide behind the fact that you're a gay drag queen, small, petite, whatever, because you got to clearly drug people in order to get some, and you want to use this as an excuse, no, you're not going to be able to hide and cloak yourself behind all of this other stuff. People need to be held accountable. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now, exactly. All settlements are a way of being guilty without admitting the guilt. But people don't seem to think that he won his case. No, he's settled. It's a difference. He's settled with Daniel McGarrigle, who cannot talk about it. Trust and believe. I've tried to get the information, but I can't. And you said it just doesn't mean exactly. They didn't win. I'm like, where y'all getting this information from? Google is your friend. Just like when MJ and Cosby, everybody can't be lying. Okay. Breaking news: Bob Iger has a replacement. Is it? Well, look. Bob Iger is planning on leaving Disney. So, and he only came back to clean up the mess that Bob Chapek did. So, yes, he is trying to there needs to be a replacement in place. Also, I did read something or another where I think it was on one of the trades. The story going around about Kathleen Kennedy leaving Lucasfilm, which I know a lot of people were praising because, yes, in the past decade, the Star Wars movies have been crap. However, I heard today that she ain't going nowhere. I said, well, damn. Why? She needs to go. She needs to retire. So I guess we're going to continue to get crappy Star Wars movies. So yeah, if I see that, we'll see that in the morning. I mean, I'll check on that tomorrow. Sadly, it does not surprise me of how many people are found on that Facebook post. Oh, I mean, wait, sorry. Let me read that again. Sadly, it does not surprise me of how many people you found on that Facebook post being Team Shangela on this. For our word culture is very much allowed in too many circles. Absolutely. And it's something that goes extremely underreported in our community. You think it's bad when it comes to women? It's worse with us. Especially when it comes to gay men wanting to go and report this to the police or whatever. The way the police treat stuff like this. Oh well. Yeah, they're definitely gonna love stuff like this, and I think that's what people focus too much on. Me, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care what them other people think. If we got rotten apples in the community, then that's what we need to get them out, throw them in the trash. But we can't sit and worry about what GOPers and all those, because quiet as it's kept, they got a lot of them types in their communities too. I mean, how many crooks, R-word types, all this other stuff did Trump pardon or put in office currently? Paramount Plus lost $286 million in the quarterly streaming. They're looking to shut it. Well, yeah, they've been trying to sell it for the longest. But and you know what? It's their fault. Because here's the thing. I cannot tell you how many people said when it comes to RuPaul's Drag Race that they're not able to watch it. Why isn't RuPaul's Drag Race on Paramount Plus? Y'all show old episodes, or when the season's over, you got to wait half a damn year. So like when the season's over in June or May, you got to wait till like September, October to watch season 17 on Paramount Plus. They're even at a point now, normally the Challenge All-Stars used to always go on Paramount Plus first. Now they're airing it on MTV. So as much as I like some of the stuff on Paramount Plus, and I've been watching a lot of the shows and all, and Taylor Sheridan definitely been giving me a lot of my life in regards to his programming. The issue that I have with Paramount Plus, the way y'all run stuff over there is a mess. It's like, yeah, I'm getting Yellow Jackets and I'm watching the prequel to Dexter and all other stuff. There's a lot of great shows over there. But it's like, y'all really need to get it together in regards of your original program. Not a lot of us have MTV. I shouldn't have to be paying damn near $30 for Philo just so that way I could watch The Challenge and watch Drag Race. Drag Race should automatically go to Paramount Plus. It should be up there. And you'll let it record and I could just watch it that way. But that's not what they're doing. So they clearly dropped the ball. Streaming was largely insane and a bad and look, another thing I will say, I agree with that. I wouldn't say streaming in general, but I just feel like not every studio needs a streaming service. Y'all were trying to compete with Netflix, and for the first time, Netflix is getting outbeat by Disney, the Disney HBO Hulu bundle. I just saw that article today. So Netflix is getting surpassed in that department. But yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen at this point. Paramount Plus is going to have to merge with somebody. There's too much competition with exactly, and not only that, but it's getting too expensive. It's getting about as expensive, if not more so, than regular cable. Now I don't even want to. Sometimes I just be dreading when the next month comes because the amount of money that is being drained out of my account, my bank account, with all the streaming services that I'm a part of, I be stressing. So maybe Paramount Plus needs to merge with somebody or sell it to, I don't know, sell it to Netflix. Oh no, don't even sell it to Netflix. Sell it to somebody. Well, thank you, Liz. As the old saying goes, what is done in the dark. Shut up. Nuh-uh. Don't shut down WoW. WoW got some good stuff on there. Maybe they need to put Drag Race on WoW so that way we could watch it that way. I mean, we like it with MTV because it gets all the big ratings. You said they do have Drag Race. Yeah, I know they have wait, what are you talking about? You said, you're talking about all the All-Star seasons. They have Celebrity One and the Global All-Star. Oh, you talking about Paramount Plus? Yeah, I know that's all on there. I'm talking about the regular season of Drag Race does not air on Paramount Plus. You cannot watch it on the otherwise. Trust and believe, I would be watching that every weekend. I mean, every Friday, I would be going to Paramount Plus to watch RuPaul's Drag Race season 17. You can't get it on there. And a lot of people have been saying like they used to be able to go to MTV's website to watch Drag Race, but they can't watch it there no more. Because that's how I used to watch it too. Or now what people have to do is they do viewing parties where it's like at their house, or you do a viewing party at your bar or whatever the case is, because that's what they do. I know, like a friend of mine, he does the VPN thing, so he gets it illegally with the cussing and everything up in there. So that's how he watches. But anyway, let's move on. Oh, now we got more bad news. So let's talk about Karen Huger over from Potomac, who I was not expecting her to be doing no jail time, but apparently they said she was sentenced today to 2 years in prison. Although they said she might not even do 2 years. Quiet as it's kept, she might not even do a year. She's probably only do a couple of months and get out on good behavior. But according to People, as in People.com, People Magazine, the whole bit, Karen Huger was back in Montgomery County Circuit Court today on Wednesday, February 26, where she was officially sentenced to 2 years in the clink, with 1 year suspended for her ongoing drunk driving case. The Real Housewives of Potomac star, who's 61, dressed in all black, you in mourning, sis, because you about to go to jail, with her husband of 28 years, Ray, by her side, will have to serve 5 years probation. She has 30 days to appeal the judge's decision and 90 days to ask the judge to reconsider his order. Now, while taking into custody, Huger told her husband, "You will be all right, and that God's got you." Well, why she say that? Her man can't live without her? I'm just asking. So now, for those of you who don't remember, Huger was arrested in March of 2024 after a single vehicle crash with a street sign 3 miles from her house. Body cam footage later released from the scene showed a visibly intoxicated Huger stumbling and slurring her words while speaking with police. The Grand Dame invoking the names of everyone from her housewives boss, Andy Cohen, to deceased President Abraham Lincoln in the process, while admitting to having had a couple of beers. She was officially charged with a DUI and DWI, negligently driving a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, a person, as well as recklessly driving a vehicle in wanton and willful disregard of the safety of persons and property. Now, other charges include failure to control vehicle speed on the highway to avoid a collision. Well, goddamn, y'all going in on this whole charge is driving a vehicle in excess of reasonable and prudent speed on the highway, driving a vehicle on the highway with suspended registration, and failure to notify administration of change of address within 30 days. God damn, woman, you was doing all that? Now, in December, a jury found Huger guilty on all charges except reckless driving, saying, quote, although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we, of course, respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case. This is what Huger's then attorney, A. Scott Bolden, told People in an exclusive statement at the time, saying, quote, we continue to reserve Miss Huger's right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Miss Huger and her family at this time, end quote. Now, then in January, Huger entered a private recovery program in Florida to, as she later explained, to get to the bottom of taking antidepressants and drinking. The visit meant that she couldn't attend the taping of The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9 reunion and had to have her sentencing pushed back while she replaced her legal team. Now, surprisingly, Huger did appear at the reunion in the form of two videos, one taken the day of sentencing and another after she had made the decision to enter rehab. And they were trying to say that she did the rehab situation so that way she could decrease her chances of going to jail. Well, apparently, sis, it didn't work. But I hope what happens is that, you know what, when you did go to okay, so now the picture don't want to work. Whatever. I just hope that when you get down to the point of that when you went to rehab for whatever reason, if you really went to get your stuff together versus you actually went because you were trying to smooth over, oh look, I'm getting clean, I'm putting in the work, so therefore y'all can reduce my sentence. You won't send me to jail for how long they was initially planning. I don't know if the 2 years was always on the table or what or not. But at least I hope that whatever your intentions was, that when you went to rehab, that you learned something, you got the tools that you needed to get yourself together so that way you be able to recover the way you need to recover. Because you know what? A lot of people just be running to rehab and playing around. But shout out to Karen. Hopefully she gets it together. We'll see if, once she's done with jail, if she'll be invited back to conclude her situation on Potomac. I wouldn't see why Andy wouldn't bring her back, because that would be ratings gold to bring her back, just like how y'all would. And I'm not saying they're going to do this for her, because she's not the Grand Dame star of the show. Although she like being called the Grand Dame, sis, you are not the lady she believed. Even though in that picture you kind of did look like her. But you're not the Grand Dame, the Grand Empress, or whatever you want to call yourselves, where they need to press pause on the series, because like what they did with Teresa over in Jersey, with sidebar, I heard that her brother Joe is now moonlighting as a comic. That's comical, but that's his job now. If you like it, I love it. But then they don't need to hold back on the from keeping the show from filming the season 10 because she's in jail. I'm sure they'll talk about it when the new season comes around, and hearing about the sentencing and how they all feel about it, then they'll move on. But when she gets out of jail, she's back to do season 11. I would say bring her back on, because then we can get her story and everything and what life was like behind bars, and that'd be good for the TV show. But hopefully she gets it together and learns what she needs to learn, and don't be out here being a hot-ass mess post-prison. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to Karen Huger being sentenced to 2 years in prison? But they're saying that she might not even do 2 years. She could probably just do a couple of months and get out on good behavior. That's the way I see it. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on and get into this next story by Miss Tate McRae, who I guess has a lot to celebrate because her third album has finally, I guess, third time is a charm, because her third album is basically a hit amongst Gen Z. And I'm not Gen Z, I'm an elder millennial. But I liked the album. It was giving me my life. The songs was cute. So on Friday, I was going to say French Canadian. She's actually Canadian. Canadian pop star Tate McRae, who was clearly channeling late 90s, early 2000s TRL era Britney Spears, Nelly Furtado, and Xtina with her third album, So Close to What, may finally have a hit on her hands based on album sale predictions. Now, according to Hits Daily Double, So Close to What is pacing toward a top 5 debut on Billboard 200 with opening sales of 110 to 125,000 copies sold of her album. Now, should this song hold, it will function as McRae's biggest selling launch to date, almost doubling the 66,000 opening of 2023's Think Later. These are horrible titles to be honest. Think Later, that's a horrible album title. So Close to What? Another horrible album title. But the songs is actually good, though. I'll give her that. And I'm glad that they tapped into her strengths, which is she's giving sex, she's a pretty girl, she gives you hairography, she's giving full cheerleader dance girl tease. The songs are sultry and sexy, and she's very much she got a little raunch to her. But look, she's come a long way. She was on So You Think You Can Dance, so why not stick to her strength? She's a dancer with a cute little voice, and that's what people like. So play into that. So, in the past, I was gonna say because her label was trying to mold her into like this Billie Eilish Lord type of a performer, and I guess because it was like popular and it didn't feel like it was authentically her. But I realized it was like whoever saw like after the success of her song Greedy, which that's when I first became aware of Tate, and I was like, oh, that's a cute song, I like it, and then they capitalized on that. They were like, oh, Greedy, bop. Okay, the song's becoming a hit. The kids is liking it. Let's continue to go in that direction. Glad somebody was paying attention instead of trying to force her into a genre that was not working. It happened to me, I guess Greedy was a happy accident. So then we got other bops, such as Sports Car, Two Hands, and It's Okay, I'm Okay. But I will say the other songs off the album, if you haven't heard it yet, that I'm living for, I love Miss Possessive, hence why she's calling this her Miss Possessive tour. I Know Love featuring the kid Leroy. I do like that song. I've heard that I think they're dating too, if I'm not mistaken. And he was also at Jingle Ball. That's also the first time I saw Tate McRae live when I worked the Jingle Ball. And I was like, okay, I see you, girl. I see you, sis. I see you, niece. You definitely serving up there with the hair, and you know how to stand still for one moment with the pout, and the kids are screaming while you up there serving sex on a platter. Even though I think a lot of the young girls, there was a lot of teenage girls up in there, which, sidebar, parents, I don't know how y'all let some of y'all kids out the house with some of the clothes they got on. This guy goes to show that, I'm getting older. I was gonna say old, but I'm getting older, because when I was looking at some of the stuff, I was just like, why am I looking at these little girls and I'm seeing y'all ass cheeks? Thank God I'm a homosexual, because I was sitting there looking like, why these little girls got their ass out? And then I'm saying, and I'm acting like I'm their damn parent, because then I'm looking at some of the men up in there looking at these girls' behinds, and it's now this is giving me Chester the molester tease. So, but these mothers be out here trying to look just as fierce as their kids. But if you like it, I love it. I ain't raising them. So, in regards to that, I also like Revolving Door and Blood on My Hands featuring Flo Milli. So there's a couple of bops on the record. Now, in addition to, the success and the numbers on the third album, y'all already know what's come with Tate McRae and a lot of what she's serving. Britney Spears comparisons. So, in regards to the Britney Spears comparison, she's addressing it. So the singer, who's 21, opened up about being compared to the pop icon, who's 43, in a recent interview with The Independent, timed to the release of her third studio album, So Close to What, which came out on the 21st of February. McRae said that she finds the comparisons to a young Spears to be flattering and scary. Excuse me. saying it's such a crazy statement because no one can compare to Britney Spears. It's like comparing someone to Michael Jackson. That's the blueprint. And I agree with her on that because there's a lot of people, like when you look at male pop stars, especially when I was growing up, because I'm from the era of, like I was a kid when Michael Jackson came out, but I'm from the era of like Usher. These are my peers. Usher, Jason Derulo, you know, bottom of the barrel behind, Neo, Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown, all of them kind of come from the school of Michael Jackson. So when you hear that, you always say like, yeah, Michael's the blueprint. Hence why you see so many male artists, even to this day, even now to Justin Bieber, and I'm sure a lot more, they look up to Michael Jackson as being the blueprint, and people still trying to follow his formula instead of just being themselves. It's the same thing with Britney Spears. Like nobody can compare to her. And so you're going to get girls like a Tate McRae who comes close to what Britney serves because she serves a kind of that attitude and the hair and the sex appeal. There was even one where I think she worked with Sean Bankhead, and he was talking about how he had to show her like to strut like Beyonce in the Crazy in Love music video. And she was like, she'd never seen the video before, which he thought was blasphemous. But then again, you got to realize, while we could look at it as blasphemous, she's 21 years old. So, but then again, if y'all coming from the school of trying to be a pop star, a lot of you kids, y'all have way more access than my generation. We had to like figure it out on our own in regards of artistry and who to look up to. And we had to watch music videos, record it, rewind and study and do all that stuff. Y'all got social media. So in a way, y'all got it easier, but also kind of hard because it's not easy trying to maintain the amount of success with social media because you always got to constantly feed the beast. But in regards of other stuff, it's like, yeah, y'all have Google. There's no excuse. Y'all should be out here studying the greats. You should be studying the Beyoncés and the Britneys and all these other stuff if y'all want to be the next generation of yourself. Not saying you're going to be the next Britney because nobody could be the next Britney, just like nobody could be the next Beyonce. Nobody could be the next Pink. Nobody could be the next Madonna. Nobody could be the next Kylie Minogue. Nobody could be the next, whoever is the big star. That's an icon and a legend and the moment. Shout out to Wendy Williams. So McRae, who's also a professional dancer, competed on, as I said earlier, So You Think You Could Dance, when she was only 13 and finished in third place. Shortly after, the Canadian star began sharing her music on YouTube. She has since accumulated 5 Billboard Hot 100 singles and made her debut on SNL in 2023. Now, the sports car singer also told people, I don't know why my pictures is not working today. Anyway, she told people in an exclusive interview in 2023 that the music video for her single X's drew choreography inspiration from Spears and Christina Aguilera, saying that we were obviously taking inspiration from the greats like Britney and Christina and really wanted to just do a full dance music video. I've been dreaming of doing a dance music video with full choreography, dance being the most prominent thing in the music video for so long. So that definitely referenced some of my biggest idols. Now, at the time, the performer told people that the comparisons to the Toxic Singer are obviously an honor, saying, I mean, Britney's the queen. People are going to compare newer artists to things that have happened in the past. So obviously it's very cool to hear comments like that. And yeah, there is nothing wrong with being compared to an icon that existed before you. The problem is how you take the compliment. So when you have people who you clearly see have been inspired by certain queens and icons and legends before them, and they're trying to, oh no, I wasn't trying to bite off them. When I'm like, girl, we can hear it in the song that it sounds like something that somebody did, or the visuals were similar to a video that we've seen. You just added your little spin on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing new under the sun. I always say that. There's nothing new under the sun anymore. Everything has pretty much been done and done to death. It's all about how, like, you take that inspiration, you take that visual, you take that whatever you've seen from somebody in the past, you put your own spin on it, not a carbon copy, because if you do a carbon copy, it's lazy, and you're going to be called out as being a thief. So I hate when people do all of that, where they go in immediately, and then the people that are the artists feel insecure and want to try to gaslight, oh no, I'm not trying to be like that person. The difference between me and them is I play an instrument. Or whatever. Okay, well, guess what my instrument is? My instrument is I have an ear that when I'm in the studio and I'm working on certain things, I know based off my gut and my instinct, because that's my instrument. trusting my gut and being like, I like that, I don't like that, take that out, bring that snare up, add a little bass to that. That's what true creative artistry is. Everybody ain't somebody who's inclined to be able to pick up a guitar and a piano and be able to play it. I told y'all, with me as a kid, when I was training being a classic pianist, and I was supposed to go to the Brooklyn Music School and all those other stuff, and I chickened out, which I, to this day, I still regret not doing that. But I can always, like, I'm still alive, so I can always accomplish and do all the things I want to do down the road. The thing with that was, could never read sheet music. I can hear music and play it back. When I look at sheet music, it looked like straight up Klingon. But when I was a kid, and that's how it was when I was a kid, I could never read it, but I can always hear music and play it back. And one of my idols growing up, in regards to like playing classical music and all that other stuff, was Ludwig Amadeus Mozart. So that's who I was. That was like one of my inspirations, especially when my teacher first showed me Amadeus as a kid, and I have been obsessed with that movie ever since. It is one of my all-time favorite movies, by the way. So I'm gonna get a little music nerd on y'all. So to bring it back, look, Tate, you out here doing your thing. You know, people are gonna constantly compare you to the dance moves and all other stuff. They're gonna compare. You're always gonna get the Britney comparisons, but it just has to show, like, as you progress and you become more of a bigger star, you have to find your own lane. You have to find your way. And I feel like she's on her way. She just has to continue with, okay, we could take from the greats and inspire, but we make it our own. When you see so many artists who have been inspired from Madonna, even Beyonce, people always talk about Beyonce be stealing, and maybe there's some truth to that. But when you see Beyonce, when she takes from like Diana Ross, and she's taking things from Madonna, and she's taking things from Tina Turner, and she's taking things from Josephine Baker, and she's taking things from so many other people, but she put her own spin on those things that she was inspired by. And that's where the true creativity comes from. Because like I said, there ain't nothing new under the sun. There's always going to be something that somebody has already done by the time you get to it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of what Tate McRae had to say about being compared to Miss Britney Spears? And look, if Britney ain't putting out no music and out here giving us any kind of dance moves or a pirouette or whatever the case is, then I'm here for the next generation that's willing to step their pussy up and give us, a little 8 count. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now we have comments. Like I said, people wanted the album to be titled Mispossessed. Like, yeah, because I was just like so close to what? I'm like, so close to, yeah, exactly. So close to what? Like, I don't know what you mean. I think, and I think Tate McRae's tour, when is that happening in New York? I think it's September, October. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I did see the billboard the other day when I was heading into the garden. But anyway, so they said, I'm getting tickets to one of her 2 Phoenix shows. Not Katy Perry. Well, we about to talk about her in a second. Once we're done with reading these comments. And them ticket sales. They said Tate is doing so good. A second show had to be added because of demand. I kind of wonder also, is it going to happen at the Garden too? But we'll see. He said Crystal Vanity hates Tate because of the Britney comparisons. At least she embraces it. Unlike, well, did you catch my shade when I was throwing it up in there? That was a Lady Gaga dig. I'm sure y'all caught it. But I was gonna say, yeah. In regards to the whole situation, I was like, we get it that you're a Britney Spears stan, but at the same time, don't be so quick to hate on somebody because of the Britney comparison. So what? Like, you like Britney, but give other artists a chance. And that's why I feel like it keeps me, even though I ain't old, it keeps me young and vibrant. I'm keeping my ears to the streets on who's coming up next in the next generation. You have to be keeping your ear out here to know like who's doing what. I don't understand why people be so quick to just dismiss somebody because they're getting compared to one of your faves. But I'm like, if the music is good, I'm gonna support it. And I like some of Tate's music. I thoroughly enjoyed So Close to What, which I will still go on down the hill say is a horrible album title. Not Tee. You caught it. You want to talk about shade? You caught the shade. I was actually listening to Tate's album this morning, and my mind was checked. I knew it. That's what I was saying. Like when you was I gave up after the 4th track. And I was sitting there like, child, you need to give that album a chance because you don't know what you're missing. I was like, listen to it. But what I was doing was how I listened to the album. I told you I was putting the show together last week. And Robert had said, like, oh, he would listen to it and he liked it. And I was like, I hadn't listened to it yet. So while I was sitting there putting, the show together, I was like, you know what? Let me just play the record while I'm putting the show together. And I was like, okay, Tate, you got me moving my ass in this chair. I'm putting the show together. This song is giving me my life. And that's what it is. But girl, don't have a moment like Ariana Grande where you out here blackfishing, and the only time your music was popping was when you was working with Miss Victoria Monet, and the minute that Victoria Monet went solo and off doing her own thing, you was no longer attached. You gave us that mess that was Eternal Sunshine, and then the songs, people wasn't feeling them songs. The thing is, I don't think Tate grew up listening to Britney, not even during the... Look, she didn't even know about Crazy in Love. So I'm just like, I don't think she grew up listening to Britney either. Like, she's 21. She's not even of that generation. Like, that's late 20s, mid to late, I would say mid 20s on up. And I'm sure maybe there was some kids that listen to Britney, especially, but I would find that weird though, because I'm like, Britney's a dancer. A lot of dancers dance to Britney's music. But then I guess we all have to think of within that time period, Britney was going through what she was going through, and could have been that too. She said in the interview she grew up with Selena and Ariana. Selena Gomez? I was like, what kind of Bobson? Selena Gomez was Selena had a couple. That Stars Dance Tour came up in my timeline on YouTube yesterday. I do think it's her label forcing her to go a certain route to keep up with the Sabrinas. It could be. And look, apparently it's working. I was like, just stick to your strengths. And your strengths is you're a dancer with a cute little voice. She could sing better than Jennifer Lopez, but she got a passable voice. And I've heard her sing live when she was at Jingle Ball. She can carry a tune. And they said they always try to mold pop girls to be the next someone. That's another thing that irritates me too. Stop trying to be the next someone and have these kids try to be themselves. At least Tate and Britney don't have beef, unlike Cardi and Nicki and Madge and Gaga. Britney and Christina. Remember at one point they was going through their beef. And that was like my generation's beef of people going through it growing up. It was, Britney and Christina. That was my generation going through that whole rivalry. I was too young to understand the whole East Coast, West Coast with Diddy and Suge and all of that stuff. But yeah, the one that we had with the beef was, I remember it was between, it's trying to act like there wasn't. Or maybe it was just the industry was trying to cook something up like there was a beef between them. I know who you are, Dragon. I'll find the article because Martin Solveig said that was happening during the making of MDNA. She had everything taken out of the demo of Turn Up the Radio and start all. First of all, I hate Turn Up the Radio. I was like, this song is so terrible. It's such a bad song. Gaga keeps it going because of things she says about Madonna, plus wearing things Madonna wore before. Did you see that video that she wore lately where she was, and it was like some funeral, whatever. They were trying to say she copied off she's copying off of Lady Gaga's Disease video. First of all, Madonna would never make herself look dreadful. In like Gaga did in that Mayhem character in the Disease video. She was giving Bridget Bardot with a lot of those looks too recently. Billie was compared to Lana, Olivia was compared to Taylor, Sabrina was compared to Katy. Exactly. There's always going to be somebody who gets compared to somebody. Her vocal style is Ariana Grande. They say if Ariana did Tate's album, I'll like it. It's their craving originality in a vocal or something, but as petty pop culture said, there's no artist development. Yeah, they aren't. There isn't. Like when we were growing up, there was artist development. You had people who took years. You had to take media training. You had to take dance classes. You had to take singing lessons. You had to do all that. Like you'll hear the stories from Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, how long it took them to hit it big in America. It took them almost 10 years. And how, even though Lou Pearlman was a POS, they tell you like how he put them through the ringer for them to become the artists that they were today. So back in the day, it was like, yeah, you had to go through like a charm school, or you had to learn how to behave in an interview, how to, talk to people, how to perform, the dance classes, the singing lessons, all of that training went into it. Now it's like, you got to come out the womb with all this talent. with happy feet. I don't even think she's a Britney Spears stan. Maybe people on her team are, but I think she's an Arianator. And I think it's because she's a pretty girl with long hair and she, her choreography is like in the same vein of like a Britney Spears. So there's always going to be those comparisons. People just can't watch something without having to compare something to somebody. Because I for this video about Ariana's Thank You Next era, and they explain how that era was the first real era that Gen Z grew up on and vividly remembers. Thank You Next and Billy's first album. But in 2005 made sense. Then Tate McRae being a Britney Spears stan today. I do like that Ariana stood up for Hunter Schafer. Did she? I must have missed that article because I saw that there was something I saw. Do I have a? Oh wait, I did have a Hunter Schafer story. I totally forgot to add it to the show. I'll probably add it tomorrow. It was she was commenting about playing Mystique in X-Men because there's a rumor that's been going on around that. So I'll just save that for tomorrow's show. And you said congrats on shady. 33 in your third week. Why does it? Okay, I need to ask, and I guess Alex, you could jump in on this because you're a monster. Why do y'all think that Abracadabra, even though like there's so many think pieces, there's so many, it's a comeback and all this other, whoever y'all watching, because I see the numbers are rising, they fluctuating, but I see the people tuning in. Why do y'all think that the songs from the Mayhem era are not hitting, except Die With a Smile? Because it's like Abracadabra is a good song. I see the people doing like taking a bit like the choreography from the video, and I see so many TikTok videos that's gone viral with people emulating the choreography. I see a lot of think pieces. I see a lot of reaction videos on YouTube, but apparently they're saying that the song stalled at number 33 in your third week, and it's like. I think she should have been out here performing the songs. We have not seen her perform any of these new songs live yet. The only time that we know that she's going to be performing it is at SNL, and that's next week. So, when the album comes out. But you should have been out here performing it. First of all, I thought it was a misstep for you not to perform any of the songs at the Grammys. You decided to premiere the music video during the Grammys commercial. You could have just uploaded that to YouTube, and the children would have got their life. Or after you perform, or you could have just performed the song. You could have dropped the video early in that day, performed the song at the Grammys, and the kids would have got their life. Madonna would be caught dead in a suburban Cadillac. Well, yeah, shout out to all the hearses of the world. Gaga completely reheating her nachos from 2011 is what this album. Fucking this album's like, you're basically saying that it basically sounds like there's no revolution, that it basically just sounds like you just went back into the archives of the Fame Monster, Born This Way era, and you're just reheating up. That's why I live the whole reheating her nachos. That you're basically just rejudging what we already have. You just got a little more money. So the production's a little bit more cleaner and better, and it's like you polished a turd, I guess you were trying to say. Is that when we got Gaga back in the day, she was a little rough around the edges. We was living, but now it's a more polished version of that era. And so I feel like maybe only the hardcore fans are going to come out and support it. But it seems like to me, some of the hardcore fans are not really liking it. I would have just preferred Art Pop Act 2, but hey, Gaga hasn't got me excited over anything since the Chromatic Remix album, and which you already know I did not like that remix album. That What a Smile makes me think of when Madonna added Vogue to I'm Breathless. And you want to know something? It probably is the same tactic, but because it was like Vogue was a huge hit, you needed to sell I'm Breathless, so you added that song to it, and then Vogue just outside of that became the bigger hit. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Katy Perry, who is struggling. She's on the struggle bus in regards to, this whole Lifetime's world tour. Now, I'm sure that she's going to do gangbusters overseas. Europeans, I could throw shit at a wall and y'all go pay money to go see it in an arena or a stadium. And that's no shade. I'm just saying. There is a little bit of shade up in it. But in America, it seems like we might be a little fickle. You know, Americans are a little wishy-washy when it comes to who they will support and who they won't support. And a lot of people apparently over in the US did not like Lifetimes. It felt like there was no evolution, no kind of anything. I tell you, like, when it comes to Katy Perry and her style of music, I've always said, like, she gives me, you're like 40 years old doing Kids Bop tracks. So there's no evolution with a lot of the stuff that you do. But according to the US Sun, she has yet to fill 70% in some locations. Oh, but you already know I come with receipts, so I do got the blueprint. I got the pictures of a lot of the blue seats that are available. So the 40-year-olds tour tickets went on sale on January 29th, and while some of the venues in the biggest cities like New York City seem to be selling more adequately for the former American Idol host, several stops and small locations are faring much worse. Now, I don't want to throw shade at my job. Shout out to Madison Square Garden. You know I live for y'all, but it's not that hard. I was going to say it's not really that hard, depending on who it is, that they could sell out the Garden. I think it would be in certain cases, but for the most part, when it comes to a Katy Perry or whatever the case is, she's going to sell out them nice. Now, the one I'm really I'm worrying about is Dula Peak, because I believe Dula Peak is doing 4 nights. I have not heard what the sales are on them tickets. If they've done, she's going to be doing 4 nights, and y'all do not like radical optimism. So I don't know if y'all got a little too ambitious with her. I can understand if y'all did 1 night with her, but 4, I'm a little worried on that. And that's supposed to be in September when she's doing her tour. So now, one look at Ticketmaster's site for sales in Minneapolis's Target Center, I should say, shows a sea of blue dots denoting empty seats available for purchases in the arena. Now, I do have that picture. There it is. Look at all that blue. That's all the seats that's available. Now, they said the Minneapolis May 13th date has also fast approaching. Yeah, because March is literally in 3 days. The Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, whose May 15th date is also around the corner, still looks pitifully empty. Now, at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, the scene looks just as grim, with easily over 60% of tickets still available. Now, at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, just a few sections have been fully sold, with the vast majority of upper-level seating open and available still, and a large portion of the lower level up for grabs as well. Now, tickets for the Lifetime tour went on sale on January 28th. They also said that Katy Perry upset fans with her decision to work with Dr. Puke on her latest album 143. So they feel like that may have also played a role in why the album is flopping. Number one, she decided to work with Dr. Puke, which I do agree with. Of all the producers in the world, why would you go back and work with this man that Kesha has said many a thing about, and regardless of how y'all feel in this situation, whether you believe it or not, I feel like his name and contributions to music has been tainted. So then you go, because you so desperate for a damn hit, and because not only did 143 flop, but your previous albums flopped too. None of y'all like Smile, and some of the other records. Witness, y'all didn't like that one either. Why this is Kevin? I didn't like Witness, because that was the part where she was trying to get all deep. And we all know that Katy Perry is about as deep as a pond. So her trying to be all transparent and relatable wasn't working. So back to the Kids Bop formula. I'm going to be dancing on stage with sharks, singing California Girls in a bikini and, a little short skirt, and distract y'all with the buffoonery because my songs are outdated. So now, after a long protracted court battle with lawsuits and countersuits, Dr. Luke and Kesha, released a joint statement in 2023 announcing they had settled the matter privately instead of going through a trial. Now, in September, this also, I think, bit her in the behind when she went on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And Alex Cooper, the host, asked her point blank about her decision to work with Dr. Puke. And despite the allegations against him, and fans were unimpressed by her response, because she said, I know a lot of people have expressed disappointment and were really upset that you decided to involve Dr. Luke on this album. Katy tried to wiggle her way out of the answer, with an answer. She tried to wiggle her way out of the situation with this answer. She basically said that Dr. Luke was one of the many collaborators, as she insisted the album came from her inspirations alone. But you needed Dr. Luke's Midas touch, which clearly everything he touches now turns to shit instead of gold, to help you get to where you need to get and then get there. So I hope the risk was worth it, sis. And she said she wrote the songs from her experience of my whole life going through this metamorphosis. Now, whatever that metamorphosis is, I don't know if it was a metamorphosis or the drag queen Maddie-morphosis, but she said she was going through something, and we still trying to figure out what the hell it was, because it wasn't giving when we listened to the music. The songs sound too short, unfinished, and uninspired. She then tried to explain Dr. Pute was just one person whom she collaborated with in the past. It also is her first album since she gave birth to her daughter Daisy Bloom, who she shares with Orlando Bloom, the actor. And the pop star's inability to provide a clear response, pissed the fans off, saying so much was said, yet none of it justifies working with Dr. Luke. This is what one person said on the Twitter. Another person said, so she basically didn't answer the question. Of course, she answered the question with a non-answer. Now, another person says she literally says she worked with him because she wanted to. Oh, yikes. At this point, just don't speak. Exactly. And so, yeah, let me show y'all this other picture of Raleigh, North Carolina. So, yeah, that's the Raleigh, North Carolina date or venue. All that blue that you see up in here, those are all the seats that's available. So, I'm sure this tour will be cute or whatever. I'm sure she's got a lot of things planned, but it just goes to show that maybe what she should have did, and now I feel like this is Hannah for Lopez all over again, where y'all pretty much set her up to fail. Now, I feel like in Europe, she's guaranteed to sell out and stuff because they love all the pomp and circumstance of all the, the glitz and the shininess and the costumes and the dancing and all that other stuff. So Katy Perry will do fine overseas. However, in America, I feel like she would have either worked better as picking certain venues, like certain cities. Maybe she could have just did like New York and Chicago and DC and Vegas and all the others, like the city areas. Not no damn Raleigh, North Carolina. Who's spending money to go see her? So, especially when we have so many artists coming out that's going to be touring this year. There's a lot of tours that's going to be happening in 2025. We got Beyonce about to go on tour, charging people $4,000 to see her behind Do the Hold Down. I'm sure Lady Gaga, in addition to the Rio event that she's doing for free and Coachella, that she's going to be announcing a tour, probably late this year or into next year. I don't know. So there's a lot of big names that are talking about going on tour. Like I told her, Dula Peep doing a tour, Tate McRae is doing a tour. There's a lot of people that's going to be out here touring. Mary J. Blige got a tour coming up in April. So there's a lot of artists out here that are going to be doing a thing this, now and until the summer, late summer, into the fall, whatever the case is. Katy Perry should have probably waited until 2026 to push this tour. And she did say, I will preface this, because I believe somebody, I'm trying to remember, this was sent, it was a video I saw on TikTok. I don't know if somebody tagged me into it or whatever. But there was a video, I think Honest Man sent it to me if I'm not mistaken, but there was somebody that pretty much was saying, like, she did say she was going to be singing all the hits, which was the difference between her and Hannah Lopez. Remember, Hannah said, oh, we doing This Is Me, the live or whatever the case is. They was like, we asked for This Is Me now, then next week, next year, a couple of years from now. We ain't asked for that. And you trying to sell this dry-ass album in the form of a tour. Then she tried to rejudge it to This Is Me live, the hits. Because we just going to do the hits. We're not going to give y'all others. And then people was like, we don't believe you. Because you said that we was going to get this thing. And now because y'all want to save face and sell tickets, now you want to change it. But then y'all might try to slide into the set list a couple of them dry-ass songs from that recent album you came out with that we ain't asked for. Katy Perry came out immediately and said, oh, no, we doing the hits. Then we'll probably throw in a couple of, deep cuts or whatever the case is. So there was all of that. I was like, okay. Still ain't convincing enough to want to pay money to see it. And when I saw her perform when she closed out Jingle Ball, she was all right. The backing track was louder than her actual singing voice, but for the most part, she was doing what she was doing. A lot of people was leaving too. And it could have been a mix up. They didn't want to see her perform. And then also on top of that, by the time she hit the stage, it was literally like a lot of people was coming from New York. I mean, like they're taking New Jersey Transit. New Jersey Transit cuts off at a certain time. If you stuck in the city after 12, you are literally here at 5 in the morning. That's when the next train comes. Or, for some people, it's the Long Island Railroad. So, and then there's the trains are few and far between with that, because I work with a lot of security and a lot of people that's at the garden that lives out in Long Island and stuff. So I don't even understand. Anybody trying to have restless children out here from Jingle Ball doing, this other stuff with the waiting of the trains and things. So that was another thing that I think hurt her. But also when I was like watching her do up there perform, I was like, okay, it's all right. Katie's, yeah. She's doing what she does, the bare minimum, but she's been around a longer time, so it is what it is. But it just seems like the people don't care. And unfortunately, that's unfortunate. So I feel like, you know what? You should have probably just did a couple of cities in in America, or did a residency in New York. Or not even in New York, in the US for like maybe a couple of months. Similar to like what the Backstreet Boys is doing with the Sphere. I would have did that. I would have been like, after the Backstreet Boys did what they did with the Sphere, I do a couple of dates at the Sphere in the US. That would have been perfect. Or like I was saying, just do like a lot of the cities. Philly, New York, LA, Chicago, DC. You could have just did a couple of those. But a lot of you artists, y'all got too much pride. Y'all don't want to make it seem like, oh, well, yeah, I'm bigger overseas and not as big in the United States. Who cares? As long as you get something out of it. I don't care if I'm not the biggest artist here. If I can get to live my life in Europe and be big, and I could be a little bit anonymous in America and just go through life not having to be bombarded by by paparazzi or, other things going on, or crazy fans. I take my anonymity in America over having to go overseas and be a bigger star. I can just deal with that there. But then in America, I get my peace of mind. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regarding Katy Perry and her ticket sales not doing so well? I'm sure what they'll do is they'll drop the ticket prices down to probably like $15 to $10, and trust and believe, to fill up them seats, they will sell them tickets out. So unfortunately, she'll have to take a big loss in regards to them trying to bring down them prices. But it's the price you pay if you want to do the arena. And you trying to sell tickets, the people don't care enough. Drop them prices, sis. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have some comments. Said those nachos are soggy. Mayhem was her 8th studio. Madonna's 8th studio album was Music. Music had a #1 single, a top 5 hit, the biggest dance single of 2000, and a triple platinum album. And look, and she was pregnant when she was filming that video with Ali G. Let's not forget that. Where it was like a riff, it was like a parody of pimp culture and hip hop and all that other stuff. Of course, she's struggling. People are saving their money because we're about to that too. And there's another thing people need to realize: we're about to go in a recession, especially with the moron and chief and them destroying what's left of this damn country. So people are gonna be hurting for some coins and trying to figure out how to support themselves. And it's gonna be few and far between with these concerts. So she needs to do a girly show. She wouldn't be able to do that. I went through a recession in 2008. Tours sold out. People will go broke for a night of fun. If you can find the money, you go. I have the Kraftwerk concert next month then Kylie Minogue a few weeks after, and then I'm saving for my cruise in August. But let me know how that Kraftwerk concert is. Someone on a Reddit said, if your album bombed, don't do arenas, do music halls and theaters. Your ego is showing nothing wrong with doing audit with, yeah, I agree with that. But like I said, it's ego. A lot of them don't want to downsize and be like, well, yeah, I have to do smaller venues now. It's the same thing with, Beyonce. When she talking about she doing stadiums of Cowboy Carter, I'm like, why? I understand that you feel like you're this, I mean, you are a larger life artist and everything, but Cowboy Carter does not require a stadium. It doesn't. That is giving arena or smaller venues. Look, even Madonna humbled herself during the Madam X era to do small theaters because she was just like, the idea that I have of what I'm doing requires a theater situation. Now, don't get me wrong, there was technical issues. She had the injury. She was canceled left and right. It was a disaster in a lot of ways. However, I applaud her for her artistry. Where she's like, I'm one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. I'm doing theaters because this whole idea that I have in my head in regards of the artistry of Madam X does not require me being in an arena. I want it to be more intimate. People don't think that way. Y'all be letting y'all egos just run y'all into bankruptcy. I need y'all to stop the illegal 5-year work experience and the college degree. Who you telling? Because not a lot of people is doing all of that stuff. So this old school way of thinking in regards of job requirements is just hilarious. They're being gatekept from entering employment. And it's like, not everybody's trying to go to college and has that experience. It's like the times they have changed and how, you know, people get the information that they get or the experiences that they get. But anyway, so, excuse me, we have 3 more topics left until we're done with today's show. So before we get to those topics, if you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps throughout the show so that way y'all can follow along with the topics so you don't have to, like we do during a live stream where we basically do our usual live banter and all that other stuff. So there you have it. Now, without further ado, let's get into this Jermaine Dupri story, who had to go in on Rolling Stone. I was like, almost forgot who it was. They had to go on Rolling Stone because apparently Rolling Stone did an article where they dismissed Michael Jackson's song "The Lady in My Life," basically labeling it undeserving for its spot on the iconic Thriller album. Now, the critique appeared in a Rolling Stone article titled 50 Terrible Songs on Great Albums. Now, y'all already know, every time I come down to Rolling Stone, I've been living for y'all when y'all do y'all exposés on things like Liam Payne, most recently Shangela, and so many other people that y'all be, giving a full expose on. However, when y'all get into this whole bag of song lists and little things that y'all be doing, particularly like 50 terrible songs on great albums, when music, well, art in general is subjective, this is when people always be wanting to windmill Rolling Stone and question their credibility. So the article stated Jackson delivered a strong vocal, but it's in service of a song that has no business being on the same album as Human Nature and Mama Say, Mama Say, Mama Kusa. That's want to be starting something. This stance struck a nerve with Dupri, a staunch defender of R&B and its legacy, prompting him to call out the publication. Now, I do have that post. So hold on. Let's go over to his Instagram and see what he had to say. He said, if Michael Jackson had just capped off Thriller with a track 8 instead of track 9, he would have created one of the most flawless works in music history. This is what Rolling Stone is saying. But for reasons that are hard to fathom, he tacked The Lady in My Life onto the end. First of all, I love that song. That was a good ballad, too. I don't know what the hell y'all was listening to. He did deliver a strong vocal, but it's in service of a song that has no business on the same album as Billie Jean, Beat It, Human Nature, Thriller, and Wanna Be Starting Something. So Jermaine said, like, this is the reason R&B music no longer gets the love that it's supposed to. The Grammys don't televise the categories. And then one of our longest lasting music publications at Rolling Stone prints some bullshit like this. Whoever wrote child, where's the periods? There's too many damn commas in here. Whoever wrote this needs to be thrown out the building like Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. So he was the only one that told. Jamie Foxx jumped into the comments too and said, "My grandmother used to say they playing in your face. Why are you even critiquing Michael Jackson? You want to go after one of the most talented people to ever walk the earth, as opposed to these lame artists that get on just because of what they look like. Read between the lines. It's artistic assassination attempts. Look how they went crazy on Beyonce." The Donnie Wahlberg, who shout out to him, he got a new gig. You know, they spun off his Blue Blood series, and now he's about to go to Boston with his show. He jumped into the comments too. He said, "Lady in My Life was the wind down, so we could flip the album back to side A and start the ride all over again." And you want to know something? He's absolutely right with that. That basically sums it up perfectly. When you listen to that record, back to back to back to back to back bops. When you listen to that record, the reason why he tacked it off with a ballad is because he wanted y'all, and this is Virgo shit. Like, we will give you some, and shout out to Michael because he was a Virgo. We will work y'all to the bone, and then we'll give you a little moment to, yeah, you can rest. We're gonna let you rest a little bit, kind of like how Jesus decided to rest. Well, God, you know, at the 7th day he rested when he was building the world, allegedly, according to the Bible, if you believe all that stuff. We wanted y'all to we gave y'all all them hits on that song. I mean, on that album, we gave you all them bops, but you was getting your life listening to Thriller. And then at the end, we want to close it off with a ballad because we want to give you a moment to just catch your breath. And that's what that was. So that way you could flip the album, because, yeah, back when Thriller came out, there was a side A and a side B. There was two, you know, with the album. Because my parents had the vinyl. I think my mother had the vinyl, and my father, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it was my mother that had it. So yeah, he's absolutely right with that. It was like, yeah, you basically, so you could flip over the record again and start the ride all over. Another person said, completely disrespectful to a level I've never seen. Then Jamie Foxx jumped into the comments again and said, "Quit talking about the greatest, go talk about these lames that you put in the top 10. I ain't never liked none of them, the music." Wait a minute now. Now you about to make me go over the Rolling Stone. And who is in the top 10? Because I need to know who these people are. Hold on. What's the name of that? Let me see. And I was like, what is the name of the title thingamabob? 50 terrible songs on great albums. Hold on, because I'm going to go, while we doing this live, this was not planned. I'm going to go over there and see who these people are so we can go and critique it together. So yeah, they're hold on, because I'm like, oh wait, let's go to 2016, 15. Wait, hold on, because I was like, how do we get to? Oh, we said he ain't like these top 10. Let's see who the top 10 is, because I'm like, now you got me curious, Jamie. So number 10, hold on, because we'll look at it together. The Stooges, We Will Fall. Isn't that Iggy Pop? I'm not really familiar with the Stooges, so. Then number 9, the Beatles. Of course, here we go with this foolishness. Number 8, the Who Sell Out. So it's the Who. Number 7, the Beach Boys. Yo, y'all are cackling. Y'all are cracking me up with this. Number 5, Simon. And now I ain't even gotta look. I know that's Simon and Garfunkel. Couldn't even say their damn name. Because I remember I told y'all that when I was a kid, I used to listen. My parents would put on like freestyle and all this other stuff. But then I would never get ready in the morning because I would listen to hip hop and all this other music. So they had to put on like Light FM. And that's so I would hear all these songs. Hello, darkness, my old friend. You know, I would have to hear all that stuff as a kid growing up. And that put me on to other genres of music. So yeah. Well, I was like, wait, where did it go? Okay, so now we have number 6, Simon and Garfunkel. Number 5, Black Sabbath. Now I like Ozzy Osbourne, but I'm like, come on now. Number 4, Elton John, Jamaica jerk off. Oh, let me find out. You know, I like jerking off some of them Jamaican. But was that what you was talking about, sir? From his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album. Number 3, Guns N' Roses, My World. Number 2, Pink Floyd's Seamus. And number 1, The Police, Mother. Come on with this bullshit ass list. Y'all cannot be serious. Now, this is no shade to the artist, but it just irritates me when Rolling Stone tries to do this pompousness when it comes to their music. But y'all be the main ones that come out y'all mouths trying to read black artists down to the floor. And you got the unlitigated gall to go there. Another person said, Rolling Stone has been clueless for the past 20 years. Lady in My Life does nothing but close the album out with a reminder of who MJ was at his core. Phenomenal record. Claudia Jordan even jumped into the comments and said, what a ridiculous take they had. Whose man is this? So one person said they can't even spell Billie Jean right when we shouldn't even be listening to. Wait, hold on. Now I got to look. Because I'm like, I didn't even notice that. They misspelled Billie Jean? Now I got to read it. Oh my God, they did spell it wrong. They put Billy Bean. I didn't even catch that. You want to know something? Shout out to y'all that be in the comments. That's why I be living for the comments, because y'all, in addition to reading being fundamental, a spell check is also warranted. So I'm with you, Jermaine. Hold on, because let me like his comment, because I didn't do that earlier. I'm with you, Jermaine. These, clueless saltines up at Rolling Stone don't know what the hell they talking about. It just always feels like whenever it comes down to their list, it just comes off so pretentious and so pompous. Y'all make me just roll my eyes whenever y'all want to come out and say some foolishness. So anyway, so I say all this because I want to ask y'all this question. What do you guys think of Rolling Stone and their little list? Because I had to take a gander over at that real quick to see who they pick in the top 10. They got the nerve to read Michael Jackson's Thriller, telling them to keep Lady in My Life. Maybe that was their way of them trying to get attention for their stupid little annual list per usual. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now, it is the Lone Bell. And that's what I said, after all that, getting your life with all them songs, Billie Jean want to be starting something, we was getting our lives with that record. That record had us sweating. And then after that, then you get, Lady in My Life. That was the come down, because your adrenaline is pumping so much. You want to have those breaks in the record where it's like, okay, I gave you all these 8 songs where it's just like, yeah, they upbeat. It's a lot of fun. It's a party. And now I want to just, this is the come down moment. This is like you go into the after party. You go into the, the lounge. After you done went to the club, it's the after party. So now you go into the lounge where you get to go at the couch, you get to smoke your little hookah, you get to have your drink of whatever that you drink, and you relaxing. And that's what that album was. It was taking you on a journey. And if them idiots over at Rolling Stone couldn't get it, that's on them. I had the cassette. We were limited to our portable audio. I had to bring like a small cassette tape that houses 12 Michael Jackson, TLC, Madonna, Paul Abdul, Ace of Base, and of course, Toni Braxton. Who in Gen Z hell made this list? Okay. Is there any of this list? My question would be, whose parents should have not pulled out? But look, there's a lot of times when it comes to these lists, I just be side-eyeing it because I'm like, it's a bunch of BS. But anyway, let's move on, y'all, and let's get into our final 2 topics, which one of them is, well, they're both drag race stories. So let's get into this story about Jujubee, who says that she is done competing on Drag Race. Now, you can currently see her on this show on Out TV called Drag House Rules. It's cute. I noticed that I'm like, okay, first of all, I thought it was like just gonna be like this reality show, whatever. It's like 20 minutes. So if you have Out TV, it's a relatively quick show. It's cute or whatever. It's also scripted. And I was glad because there's another article we have coming up where one of the other co-stars in the show confirmed that it's scripted. I'm like, it feels scripted. But yes, it's scripted. So let's get into the story. So Jujubee says that she feels utterly at peace, saying, quote, I have complete autonomy over what I do. This is what the 40-year-old drag queen purrs over a morning video call. Her voice so soft, I'm concerned that there's someone asleep on the other side of her dimly lit room. Now, she's out of Drag and Mellow quite somewhat. This is from Pink News. She wound up doing an article with them. But I think what they need to realize why she's talking so softly is because Jujubee, who actually I saw a couple of weeks ago, we had a little cackle, a brief moment, and all this other stuff, because I told her, I probably didn't tell y'all. There was a thing that we did a couple of years ago. There was this drag event that Mimi on First was doing, where she had a bunch of queens performing and those other stuff, and she picked like one local queen as they were traveling around the United States to perform and that sort of thing. And I think I was like a foul mood or something. I don't remember what was going on with me that day, but Jujubee wound up whispering something, and my friend had to remind her. She was like, "Oh yeah," and then we were talking, having a little moment about the event and all that other stuff. But she said something to me and made me laugh my ass off at that point. So that was always like my situation with, always my remembrance of Jujubee. But she's currently in, where I was saying that where we had spoken briefly, she's in Drag the Musical, which is a musical that Alaska created that she just came back to because Jimbo was doing it briefly, but now Alaska's back doing the show. So Frankie Grande, I told y'all, he was also there the same day I was there. So, you know, he got his pictures with them and I got mine. So she also said, so she also said, just get yourself some manners so you won't look so damn stupid, which is, you know, well, that was one of the quotes that she had said when she was on season 2, when she was going at Tyra Sanchez. But she said she's found zen since then. She said, I really am getting older because I started saying no as a complete sentence. And I love having the idea where I get to make these decisions for myself. We're mulling over her career to date, including her extensive Drag Race history. And the decision she's made is this: she'll never return to a drag TV competition again. Saying, yeah, I'm totally done competing as a drag queen. The words falling out of her like the deepest exhale. The roots of RuPaul's drag empire have finally let her go. Now, it's unsurprising Jujubee, whose real name is Airline, I ain't going to try to pronounce the last name, but yeah, her name is Airline, Chad, arguably became the first ever properly unanimous favorite among the Drag Race fandom when she appeared on season 2 back in 2010 with a winning blend of bite, heart, and sage wisdom. So I guess now we can stop the little jokes of every time, you know, there's a new season of Drag Race and they stick Jujubee up in the picture, because we did the same thing with season 17. So she made the final but lost. 2 years later, she appeared on All Stars, competing in tandem with her season 2 bestie Raven. She made the final but lost again. Now in 2020, after an 8-year break, she returned again, this time for All Stars 5, and made the final but lost again. Now most recently in 2022, she came back for Drag Race's UK versus the World, hoping to try her luck across the pond. She made the final, but altogether lost again. So it's like always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it comes to my girl Jujubee. So now today she said she's not bitter. And that was satirical right there. She says in all seriousness, she dealt with the numerous defeats with grace, but most importantly, humor. With subsequent Drag Race cast announcement, fans have edited Jujubee into the promotional photo shoots. Didn't we just talk about that? Jesting that she's back once again. She reposts every single one, always in on the joke, never the butt of it. Saying it's really crazy to me because I feel like I have this love-hate relationship with competing in anything, right? I feel like life is a complete competition. But I make the rules here for myself. And here's the kicker. By here, Jujubee means her appearance on the brand new drag reality competition series, Drag House Rules. Well, sort of. Drag Race Rules seems to have your bog standard reality TV setup. 7 drag queens are drafted to live in a house together, which has always been an idea that I've heard people running around saying there needs to be a Drag Race like Big Brother meets Drag Race, whatever, having them live in a house or whatever the case is. Now they've done it over at Out TV. And where they said when they take on a series of unhinged challenges, form alliances and rivalries, and vote each other out with a mystery prize up for grabs. Yet, as Jujubee tentatively puts it, we are a reality show competition, but it's in the format of The Office, which is to say it's more satirical sitcom with the chaotic aura of a Drag Race acting challenge. Essentially, it's a parody of the world Juju has been tied to for 15 years, saying it's real, but there are moments where, you know, it's a fairy tale, and the fairy tale is highlighted, or heightened, I should say. But she's not the only one from Drag Race that's on the show, by the way. So she's on there with Silky Nutmeg Ganache, Manila Luzon, who you can see in the picture, Rock'em Sakura, Laganja Estranja, and Tammy Brown. But also there's one girl that is not a Drag Race girl that's on the show, and that's Dragula Season 2 winner, Bitch Puddin'. Shout out to her, because I remember when I moved to LA, and I went to her party over at Precinct and DTLA. I did her that was like, she was the first queen I met when I moved to LA, because it was like she was doing her Drag Race viewing party there. We had a kiki. So She says, I'm obsessed with Tammy Brown. This is what she says of her unknowably kooky co-star who she first worked with on All Stars 13 years ago. She said, I believe that Drag House Rules is a complete comeback of Tammy Brown. Juju, Tammy, and Silky spent much of their time together lolling on the on-set pool, ordering takeout. Production probably are still upset with the bill, but we don't care. Now, between them, the cast has a caustic moment of vim, yet episode 1 puts Jujubee front and center. The cast and producers lean into her reputation as a serial drag competition botherer, and she still makes it plain that she doesn't want to be where she is. So it is a satire. It's cute, however, like I said before, if you guys have if you have Out TV, definitely check it out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the first episode is on YouTube. So if you want to get a taste of it and see if you like the show, definitely check it out. But also, she went on to say, with her Rock'em Sakura and Manila being of Asian American heritage, they said that she is one of just 7 Asian queens across 17 U.S. seasons to make it to the final. Across 9 seasons of All Stars, an Asian queen has made the top 2 only twice. Both times it was Jujubee, though she's still widely regarded as a franchise-wide favorite, a rare feat for someone who has been at the mercy of the show's editors 4 times. She still endured a hefty amount of racist abuse from the fandom's trolls. And said the following. She says, whenever I see an Asian person do anything, I feel it's a sense of proudness, because a lot of the time I feel like I'm the one Asian one, and then you start feeling like there's a sense of tokenism. How is she feeling now under a president who has not only stoked hatred among Asian people? In 2020, he dubbed COVID-19 a Chinese virus, but has rolled out a targeted campaign against the LGBTQ plus community. Now, all things considered, she's feeling blessed as to be a drag queen, blessed to be sharing queer art in the face of vitriol, saying, I only worry about things that I can control. I can't control what people feel or say about us. All I know is I have to be present, and I have to be here, and I have to live my life so fully. Which is what I be saying all the time. It's like, you can't control how people feel about you. That's why when people always go around saying, well, y'all setting us back, and we worrying about, what straight people think of us. They always going to think what they going to think. We can't control that. All we can control is how we show up to things, us being the change we want to see in the world, being a better version of ourselves, and not giving into the nonsense. So that's all we can do. But she also mentioned the Trump administration recently removing trans and non-binary individuals from information listed on Stonewall National Monument's website, saying the following: I know that so many identities right now are being forced to be erased, wagging her fingers in an air quote, because you can't erase a people. She praises the trans people in her life for their great hearts and beautiful souls, and suggests the community could try to not throw so much shade, I suppose, at each other, because there's a bigger monster who is trying to destroy the kingdom or the queendom that we've created. Anyway, back to her show about poisoning and punching drag queens. So, it said drag wasn't Jujubee's original calling. She cut her teeth in performing at theater classes in Massachusetts, where she was born, in California, where she grew up. In her teen years, she returned to her home state, majoring in theater at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, saying it was always theater. That was my first love. Drag, which she saw via RuPaul cameo in the 1995 film Too Long Fool, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, before trying it for herself at where most drag queens start, at a Halloween party. And she said at age 16, became the quickest fix for accessing the joy she found on stage as a kid. So now, as her career enters away from reality TV, it's going full circle back to the theater wings. In 2022, she landed a part in dragged up murder mystery Death Drop on the West End, her first major theater role. That same year, she headed back to Massachusetts for a role in musical Cinderella. Last year, she began starring in the off-Broadway version of glitzy drag house rivalry show Drag the Musical, alongside Drag Race co-stars Alaska, Lux Noir London, and Jan Sport. Liza Minnelli, by the way, is an executive producer. She also has, speaking of Liza, she does an opening monologue before the show actually starts. So if y'all have not seen Drag the Musical, I implore you to check it out. It's such a good show. It's funny. You'll like the songs. They're catchy as hell. And then you'll even probably shed a tear or two during a certain scene. I don't want to spoil for y'all. But if you have a chance, definitely check out Drag the Musical. It's so good. Now, They say it's a mammoth career essential because we're almost done with the story, but she's unsure she'd be able to reach those heights if she were coming off the back of Drag Race for the first time today. Saying, I'm so glad that our audition for season 2 because I don't think I would get on today. It's a completely different beast. Stars of recent seasons have opened up about being unable to find work. In December, British contestant Sminty Drop said she had 4 bookings throughout the entirety of 2024. Others have complained, struggling to hit the 100,000 follower mark on social media compared to earlier seasons where contestants would breeze past 500,000, which I talked about that the other day in my RuPaul's Drag Race season 17 Brusical recap, where um, one of the queens brought that up and Willem responded and was saying like, y'all can't just be out here expecting just to be getting 100,000 off a whim. That we laid out the blueprint for y'all to be able to work to get to where y'all need to get. You can't just show up on a reality show and expect automatically, somebody could just sneeze 100K followers in your direction. I'm paraphrasing. But then some fans have suggested the diminished returns of Drag Race is down to the show being moved from Netflix to MTV and onto drag streamer Wow Presents Plus for international fans. Excuse me. Others think it's down to oversaturation. In just 5 years, 18 international spinoff seasons have launched. But I do agree with that. I do feel like, you know what, maybe they need to get in a deal of maybe Netflix needs to pick up Drag Race again. Because a lot of people don't have MTV, and MTV is not even streaming a lot of their stuff on Paramount Plus. So if you want people to watch Drag Race, if you want to get those numbers up, I feel like y'all need to make a deal with the streaming service to actually show the new episodes. I feel like if Paramount Plus really wants their numbers to go up, maybe how about you actually start broadcasting a lot of MTV original programming over on your streaming service, because people do not consume television the way that my generation did growing up. We had to rely on cable. Now that there's streaming services, you need to play into that. It still feels like y'all in the dinosaur age, or y'all trying to just get people to continue to watch MTV. Like, that's not how it's going to work. Like, you need to kind of come in with the times. So they said during her original run, Ru called her a social media queen because she had more than 1,000 friends on MySpace. I'm grateful that I was on season 2 because I had no idea what we were doing. Catchphrases weren't a thing. Merch wasn't a thing. We just went on to have fun. This is not dogging any of the girls that are doing what they're doing now, because as we all know, drag could be a huge business and fantastic a career. But I do feel that it is the perfect stepping stone for a lot of performers out there. You could do whatever you want because of drag. And I think that is what a lot of them are looking at, is that they're looking at it as it's a stepping stone to something else. Or some being accused of, well, I'm only jumping in the whole drag space because I want to have instant fame. So it's not even like you love the art of drag. You're doing it because you thinking it's going to get you automatically that 15 minutes. And if that's what you're in for, then yeah, more than likely, you're not going to be booking a lot of gigs. So now it may have taken 15 years and 4 goals at the crown, but Juju is finally doing what she wants because of drag. Saying we're wrapping up as she's got Drag the Musical rehearsals to get to. Saying I'm absolutely living my dreams right now and I'm constantly in the moment, and that's all due to drag. I have a great life. So even if you don't get on the space of doing a drag race type thing, I do feel like, you know what, with Drag the Musical being such a hit and people loving it so much, I would love to see more drag based shows, a lot of that, where we could see a lot of drag performers in a lot of theater spaces. Like maybe a drag version of The Wiz, like we just saw, the Rules of Goals, I feel like is an inspiration for people to want to create their own Broadway shows and get drag queens into that, because there's a lot of talent out here who we could definitely see them doing that, or original ideas like what Alaska did with Drag the Musical. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Juju had to say about being a token Asian, why she's done with Drag Race, and Trump cracking down on the LGBTQ community as well as any other marginalized community? But we're just focusing on the trans and the gays and the non-binaries. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Excuse me. Oh, I read that one. So Cheryl, hey, how you doing? It's been a minute since I've seen you on here. You said, so happy I caught your live. New job, new hours, so I have not been able to catch you. Thanks for doing this. The list is okay. I'm surprised you to be saying that because of how many times she went on Drag Race. Well, I guess at this point, she's like, you know what? My career is really popping. Like, I'm doing the Out TV series, which is like scripted, but not really. It's like partially scripted, or like improvised TV, as I like to call it. And then you got Drag the Musical. So she's definitely busy with that 8 nights a week in New York. So, and that show was a huge hit off Broadway. So, like I said, if you definitely get a chance, if you're in New York, definitely check it out. It was a good show. So question, people said Democrats need to drop the trans issues. It's unpopular with people. Just say they exist and serve. Look, what Democrats need to focus on is just go to these, it's time to hit the ground running, talk to people, figure out what the people want, and provide that. And stop making it so bad. They focus so much on worrying about what other people think, and they don't want to say the wrong things, or they don't want to get screamed at. Which some of them Republicans, they got a rude awakening in some of them town halls they was at, trying to spoon feed that both sides lie, and they was getting booed by the people that voted for them. I was cackling watching that. So yeah, the recent videos and stuff is out there, but yeah, there's a lot of work they need to do. Good to see you, Magical Mermaid. They said, welcome religion and doesn't shun them. It seems Dems have disappearance to be pros and I'm so over them. Why is Miss Juju the ultimate Miss Congeniality and eternal? At least 17. Because, you know, that good Asian skin don't crack. Jujubee is up there with popularity in the fandom, right there with Alyssa. Yeah, exactly, because, you know, when we saw Alyssa Edwards on a couple episodes ago on Drag Race, we was all living. So nothing can replace these icons. I know these young ones want to be like that, but it's like, you have to go and be in yourself. It's kind of like why people love Jujubee and why people love Alyssa. It's because they didn't give a damn. They didn't care. They went in just being themselves, unapologetically. They weren't sitting there trying to produce, which is why I was rolling my eyes when I was watching Roscoe's, because you had Plain Jane's messy child was literally sitting in that chair with her damn legs spread with a damn skirt on and that horrible ass, dry ass blonde wig. Talking about, like basically trying to sound like she was literally producing the whole damn show. Oh, I knew I wasn't going home. And I was like, sitting there like, and had the nerve, the unlitigated gall to sit up there and lie through her damn teeth. Somebody, because they was asking her, and I don't believe it, I'm sorry, how much money she spent on her wardrobe over at the show. Somebody was like, what she said, like 15K? I was like, girl, that's a damn lie. There's no way in hell them dry ass wigs you wearing and them outfits cost you damn near almost $20,000. Ain't no way in hell. If they did, they ripped your ass off, and you need to ask for your money back. Because there's no way your pedestrian ass clothes would look like you got off the rack at Rainbows cost you that much damn money. Your budget has to be under the $1,000 mark. There's no way in hell you spend all that money on some clothes. Maury did the test and determined it was a lie. Like, come back with a real, and I know them girls on that damn stage didn't believe her. But if you did, okay. If you like it, I love it. All the queens still want a piece in the industry. A couple of years ago, I would have said, well, we talked about Shangela earlier. We will continue to fight and thrive. Yes, we will. Jujubee's lip sync with Raven to Dancing on My Own is one of the best of all time, and they didn't even do much. Exactly. And that's what it's like, you know, when it's everything, when you just stand up there and you just emote. That's what I be saying with people, just emote, which is what Acacia Forgot was missing during her performance when she was Dorothy. Hence why she was in the bottom. It was memorable because of the emotion of it. I wonder if her and Raven are still there. Probably. But Raven busy out here beating Rue's mug. I would have said this. I should have said this during the Shangela topic, but there was a viral tweet about her. Can we talk about how she's always been a chop hoe? What's that mean? Hunter College and New York schools removed Palestine studies, saying it's toxic for majority of America, and this was directed and ordered by the governor. Wait, Kathy Holster, that buck too bitch, who still won't get rid of Eric Adams, McGilla gorilla looking ass? I'm not surprised. Look, they was talking about that they was gonna anybody that's out there pro-Palestine protesting and on college campuses. Didn't he say some mess that he wanted to deport them? They said like yesterday, this guy was talking ish about me on Facebook comments because I said I don't like anything Gaga does. He tried to look. Somebody in the comments tried to come from my friend Ted too, who's a DJ and does gigs all around New York and other places. So I'm like, he doesn't even need to do his credentials. I'm doing it here. But somebody went and he made a comment about. I think it was on Out's page, and I was in the comments with him too because I was defending. He said something on because they said that Lady Gaga's Abracadabra, whatever the case was, the album was inspired by ballroom. He said I thought it was inspired by industrial. And as somebody who listened to industrial, he said I didn't hear KMFDM. I didn't hear any of that inspiration from when I listened to the music that we heard so far. So if you out here saying that you was inspired by industrial music, who are this is what the question should be asked off the whip. So who were the inspirations? If you listen to industrial music or you were inspired by the sound of music, who is it? Were you listening to KMFDM? Were you listening to Ministry? Were you listening to Nine Inch Nails? Who were like the artists that you listened to coming up that inspired you for Mayhem? Because it's like with me, if I'm inspired by something, I'm gonna give you my homework on who are the people that I listened to and that inspired the overall atmosphere, the sonicness, the creativity, all the other stuff when it comes to certain artists that or a certain type of vibe or a sound that I'm looking for with the record. I mean, I always come with like a book of if I'm inspired by things and I'm sitting down with people, like I come chapter and everything. Like this is all the people, like little pictures with my little glue in the picture in the page and show it to them. And like these are the people I'm inspired by. And then you put together like a little well, back in the day it was CDs, but it's like you put together a little mixtape of like these are the people that I was inspired by, and then this is kind of like what I'm interested in if I was in that position. She's always been a chop. Oh, you saying a chop and a hoe. I was never that into Shangela either. Even really? I mean, I liked some of her back in the day, but then when they were talking about how like she came across during that season that she thought she was gonna win, and it turned out to be wait, who won her season? Wasn't it Trixie? Yeah, she thought she was gonna win, and then they all like voted against her, and Trixie Mattel ended up winning, I believe. Who was it that won that season? I think it was her. Y'all have to remind me. Yeah, because it was Shangela, it was Trixie, it was Kennedy Davenport, and Cameroon. It was them four. I don't remember. Okay, so now, so yeah, it was all stars because I do love that performance of Kitty Girl. That's like one of my all-time live performances that they did of them. Hopefully they do something like that this season with Drag Race season 17. But anyway, let's move into our final topic and let's talk about another queen who is on this show called Drag House Rules, who said that who decided to open up about her identity, explaining how she wasn't really ready to accept her transness until I guess she was going back and forth with it. Until, excuse me, she had a conversation with Kylie Sonique Love, and she got over her worries because she said at one point, I don't think she was going to transition until her parents died, which unfortunately is a thought that I think a lot of people who are in trans situations deal with. I forget who else said that they were going to wait until their parents died to transition. And I'm like, damn, that's not a way to live. You got to live your life, even though if it may hurt people, you got to at some point live her life. But yeah, one of the girls, she's in the bottom row, right next to Delta. So drag icon Laganja Estranja has spoken about her journey as a transgender woman, revealing in an exclusive interview with Attitude how fear held her back from coming out. The RuPaul's Drag Race star appears in Drag House Rules, a new reality competition which premiered on Out TV. They call it Outflix, but I got Out TV on the February 21st. The show, which features Jujubee, Manila Luzon, Silky Nutmeg Ganache, Rock'em Sakura, Bitch Puddin', and Tammy Brown, combines scripted drama with reality TV elements. Now, speaking out about her transition, Laganja Estranja recalled the following. She said, quote, I didn't want to accept that I was trans. I was already such a queer, effeminate man who did drag. I kept my life very separate. I did my drag, and when the gig was over, I would get out of the clothes, out of the makeup, keep my beard, and really try to assimilate to society as a gay male. She said the pandemic gave her time to reflect, explaining, for so long, I always said, I'll wait until my parents die. I can't put them through this. But something changed, and I realized I wanted my parents to know me. I wanted them to see the brave, bold, beautiful child that they had raised who happens to be transgender. Yeah, because I remember at one point, there was a time when me and a friend of mine, David, worked on a photo shoot. This is when I was out in LA in Laganja. And Laganja was going through this phase of, I don't want to do drag anymore. I want to do boy modeling, fashion, all the other stuff. So we wound up going out to this place where I guess they had like a bunch of clothes. So we wound up going to their house, picking up some wardrobe. Then we were doing a bunch of photo shoots all around LA. And this is when she was going through her boy phase. I'm sure if y'all remember back, y'all seen them photos and stuff online. And then it was just like, I think, yeah, around the time of the pandemic, because that's around the time when I left LA. I left LA literally, came back to New York. When did the pandemic start? Like in January, February? So I came back, I was back in New York officially 4 months before the pandemic hit, where we was all stuck in, our states and all this other stuff. So literally I had moved back to LA back to New York from LA 4 months before the pandemic hit. And that was probably around the time when it was like, yeah, she said, and like a lot of us, when we were isolated and stuck at home, it gives you a lot of time to reflect. Hence why a lot of people was feeling like, I don't want to work a regular 9 to 5 no more. Like I'm working like a damn slave back, sun up to sundown. And the pandemic told me like, no, I'm wasting a lot of time. I'm wasting my life away. Now I want to do something that I love and I'm passionate about. And the ganja came to a point where she was just like, I need to live my life. I can't sit and deny who I am anymore. So the Ganja also credited fellow Drag Race legend Kylie Sonique Love as an early influence, saying when we first met on the Mickey's patio in West Hollywood, I came up to her and said, I think I'm trans. What do I do? She gave me this advice just to take it step by step and to take it slow. Now, last year, LaGanja underwent gender-affirming surgery, including breast augmentation and liposuction, calling it the greatest gift I've ever given myself. Now, on the pressures trans women face in the entertainment industry, she explained, I think a lot of times as a trans woman, we're pushed to get a bunch of surgeries and do big physical transformation. But really for me, my transition has been much more emotional and much more internal. So now, talking about her appearance on Drag House Rules, she said people should watch because there's never been a series like it. We've never seen anything like this. Hold on. We've never seen anything that is like a competition show, but actually scripted, driven by a plot line and a creative story. It's very unhinged. She said, it's an iconic cast. I mean, you've got people from Dragula, you got people from all over different seasons of Drag Race. You got some amazing guest features as well. So, like I said, if you want to see it, it's on Out TV. And I do agree with her on this whole situation that I think, and this is where I think the ignorance of people who hate trans people, particularly when you hear our current administration, this idiot talking about, they just giving out transgender operation. That's what he calls it, because apparently he don't know the word trans. People don't really be out here saying transgender for everything. It's because it's been a thing that you've heard, so that's what your melting brain fixates on. So the girls, when they get their operation, they all think that, everybody's walking around giving out operations like it's candy. But that's not how it is. A lot of times when it comes to transitioning, it has to do with being, the transition is more emotional and more internal. And then when you get to a place where you come to terms with your transness, then you can go and have the outside reflect the inside and do whatever it is you want to do in regards to all the surgeries. It ain't always about, I'm going to go under the knife and get me a pussy. So these people need to get this out of their brain and actually take the time to get to know people who are different than them and who are trans before they come off with this boogeyman thing like, they're just, they're giving out trans, operations. I'm like, so Elon Musk paying for all these transitions? Because what are you talking about, Willis? So Trans people are not the big boogeyman that this administration wants you to believe. Everybody at the end of the day, particularly anybody who's marginalized or even just queer people in general, they just want to live their life without anybody bothering them. They just want to be left alone. So want to live their life, and you go mind your damn business that pays you, apparently. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story regardless of what Laganja had to say about her journey coming to terms with being trans? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so we have comments. Back then, I thought Shangela would have won over Trixie. Well, yeah, I think it was that most people, I think, thought that. And then we kind of saw like the big shift at the end. Oh, Lord, here we go. Another damn millionaire. Whatever. I'm just going to take it by ear. I'm not getting myself riled up because I'm not stressing myself out over, all this stuff. We do need a rebrand. Not to confuse Darian with, well, look, they both big girls. That was Darian late. I said, I said, she right next to Delta. It's like, ooh, that was a Reid. It's like, ooh, I get my fat girls confused, my big girls. Anyway, it says some Zoomers say March 13th is Gen Z's 9/11 and Pearl Harbor, the last day we were in school before everything got shut down. And they said on Friday, because it's the 28th, that is our act of protest where we should just, like, it's a blackout day. Don't go out and buy nothing. Don't buy nothing, order anything on Amazon, any other stuff. Don't go to the store and buy nothing. Like, just save your money so that way they can feel it. But then I read somebody say they worked in marketing. They said, don't wait and just do it one day. Y'all need to do it for a couple of days so that way these companies feel it. If you do it a day, that's like nothing. But if you do it for like a couple of weeks, oh, they definitely feel that. I think All Star Style was the most predictable. There was no way Shea wasn't going to win. Yeah, and because people felt like Shea Coulee got robbed during her season. Shea was a front runner. She was like big to win. And so Sasha Velour pulled that little rose petal stunt. And at that part, it was like, well, damn. She had it in the bag. And Shea lost. So that's why Sasha got it. And ever since then, so many girls be trying to do that instead of just being yourself. And the thing with Jimbo felt like that was unfair. Why was Jimbo brought onto the show? And because she didn't win her seasons in Canada, so you brought her over to an American show, and y'all pretty much set her up to win. So the rigor of it all with RuPaul's Drag Race was just sending me. Although I do like Jimbo, well, let's call it what it is. Do you agree that according to Jordan Rush, the COVID lockdowns is how Gen Z went Republican, You cannot be serious with that question. You missed every damn thing because we done with the show. So rewind as soon as the show is over. Or you don't even need to rewind. As soon as it's done, you can just hit play and watch from the beginning. So yeah, thank you. So speaking on that, okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Hit that like button and that subscribe, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you all for tuning in the comments. Thank you all who've been sticking around watching this messy ass show. I love you all. Wait, what? Not hold up the show. Why? What happened? You said hold up the show. But anyway, so yeah, love you all for watching. Definitely hit that like button, that subscribe button, also smash the notification bell if you have not already. It definitely helps with the algorithm. I love and support all the people that have been tuning into the show from the beginning. Also, the new people that have come in and like watching this mess of a show and cackling along while you're cooking your food, you're putting your kids to bed if you have any. Or if you're at work and you're bored and you need somebody to have y'all cackling at y'all desk or whatever the case is that y'all doing, I'm here to entertain you bitches. When I say bitches, I say it with love. So, love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.